Creasy's mad at you, Lee, for picking Notre Dame. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. ESPN College Football, presented by Cars.com. An early season matchup with possible postseason ramifications, and an in-state rivalry that is fierce, yet lacking recent chapters in their history books. First meeting between Miami and Florida since '08, and it could be their last regular season contest for the foreseeable future. A packed house, fans still flooding Sun Life Stadium. Not only a sellout, it's oversold. They've added seats for today's game between the Gators and the Canes. Dave Pash with Brian Gracie, Tom Luganville as well. Miami won the toss, elected to defer, so Florida will start with a football. O'Donnell will kick it away. Solomon Patton and Trey Burton are deep. The last time the Gators played in the stadium, they won the national championship, beating Oklahoma in the 2009 BCS title game. It'll be Patton from the 2. And Patton stumbles past the 20 and out near the 24-yard line. Jeff Driscoll at 6'4", 240 might be a better runner than a passer. He's an incredible athlete, although has shown signs that he can really spin it. We'll see today. 22 pass attempts last week, only 153 yards though. Last year, he threw for half of what Miami starter Stephen Morris threw for.
And we know Florida wants to establish that physical running attack that Will Muschamp craves. The question for Driscoll, can he take advantage of opportunities in the passing game when they present themselves?
And Matt Jones back after missing game 1 with a viral infection, and it is Driscoll right on cue with a nice run across the 30 to the 31 for 7 yards.
And when you get that running game going for Florida, it's going to be a result of Jonathan Harrison, their center. He's a captain of this football team. They get Matt Jones back, as you said, a very physical running back at 226 pounds. You have him and Driscoll at 240 pounds, a really nice zone read element, and Denzel Perriman is going to have a long day. He better buckle up his chin strap, because this offensive line for Florida is going to come at him all game.
DJ Humphries starting in left tackle after spraining his knee week 1. They're still without John Halapio, their right guard, with a torn pec. He should be back for their next game against Tennessee in 2 weeks. And here's the first carry of the year for Matt Jones, and it's a good one. Out near the 39-yard line for a first down. Jones was the backup to Mike Gillislee last year.
Big physical offensive line, just a counter play. That's a gaping hole. The biggest concern in talking with Al Golden yesterday about his team is, can this defense slow down the rushing attack of the Gators? He says if they can't, they're toast. That's as simple as it gets in this football game.
They were a bad defense last year, 112th against the run, 116th overall. They have improved their talent, though, on D. First down for Florida from its 39. Play action pass for Driscoll with all day. And Driscoll now hit, got a wide open man. Caught by Dunbar inside the 40 at the 38-yard line.
We talked about the sting of play action. Despite the fact that Jones goes the wrong way, good protection. Great job by Driscoll of throwing that ball under pressure, understanding that there's nobody on the weak side flat. Gives Dunbar an opportunity to go up and make that catch. They've got to make those plays against man-to-man coverage off of play action if they're going to have score the kind of points that people expect Florida to score.
Yeah, not just today, but throughout the regular season. 22 yards there, so first down in Miami territory at the 39. Here's Jones between the tackles, and he's down at the point of attack. It's Curtis Porter, at 325 pounds, who made the play.
Well, Porter is the guy we were talking with the defensive coordinator Mark D'Onofrio with about yesterday. He's a key because they want to play a 3-4 defense, and in the 3-4, your nose guard has to be able to take 2 gaps. He's got to demand a double team so that the linebackers can run to the football. And right now, they're trying to figure out whether Porter has enough in him to play that position.
He is lined up right over Jonathan Harrison, senior center, second-year starter. Play fake for Driscoll, and it's caught again by Dunbar. Inside the 35. It's a gain of 5. Anthony Chickolo on the stop, so 3rd and 5 from here.
Brent Pease, the offensive coordinator for Florida, has been under a little bit of heat a year ago and started this season in opening up this offense a little bit, giving Jeff Driscoll an opportunity to throw the football on 1st and 2nd down. There you see a 2nd and 10 situation, which is a running down. They throw the ball and bring out a 3rd manageable situation here at 3rd and 5.
Usually don't hear Sun Life Stadium this loud for a Miami home game. A lot of Gator fans here, but a lot of Canes were tailgating at 6 a.m. Here's 3rd and 5 and a flag as Trey Burton jumps. That'll make it 3rd and 10. ACC officials today.
Ball start, offense, number 8, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
And you see that noise playing into this game already. We've talked a lot about on offense, Miami being able to use their hard count to get guys to jump off. That time Trey Burton jumps off sides. Burton is their 3rd down guy. I think he got a little bit excited, probably called his number, wanted to get into his route, hurt his team.
So 3rd down and 10 for the Gators. At the 39-yard line, that penalty may have pushed them out of field goal range. If they can't get yardage here. Blitz coming. It's picked up and Driscoll hits Burton, trying to get the 1st down. Out of bounds inside the 30, and it will be a 1st down. Now a penalty flag comes in. Ladarius Gunter shaken up for Miami. Rayshawn Jenkins made the tackle.
That's a great job by Jeff Driscoll, knowing that he does not have to throw the ball 10 yards to get a 1st down. Take the check down, give it to Burton. If he makes a guy miss and gets a 1st down, great. If not, we're still in field goal range.
Penalty marker down, and Gunter shaken up.
After the play, personal foul, number 88 on the offense. The play made a 1st down. It'll be 15 yards from a succeeding spot. It'll be 1st and 10.
They're right back where they ran their last play, but it'll be a fresh set of downs for Will Muschamp's Gators. No score. They're on the move here in the opening quarter.
This is college football on ESPN, presented by Cars.com.
Welcome back to Miami. Florida got a 1st down, but they also got the personal foul penalty. Clay Burton took a cheap shot right there on a defenseless player. That's Ladarius Gunter, who was on the ground hurt, and Clay Burton decides to take aim and hurts his team with a 15-yard penalty.
That's 2 penalties on this drive by Florida. Antonio Crawford will replace Gunter, who was down on the field for a while, so it's good to see him standing up on his own on the Miami sideline. 1st and 10 for Miami. Valdez Showers, who's a converted defensive back, who played well in the win against Toledo, had a touchdown catch in that game. He's the tailback here on 1st down at the 43 of Miami. And Showers goes nowhere, loses a yard on the play. Armbrister came flying in there, a sophomore from Hollywood, Florida, to make the tackle.
Great job by Armbrister, playing off of the block of Hunter Joyer, the fullback. He just made him miss. Hunter Joyer is typically a very sure-handed blocker for Florida, and just that time whiffed.
Yeah, we don't talk a lot about fullbacks these days in college football. Today we will on both sides.
Absolutely. With Joyer, and on the flip side, we'll talk a lot about Maurice Hagans for Miami, old school.
A lot of 2-back formations. 8th play of the drive here. And Joyer back there with Matt Jones for 2nd down and 11. And it's Jones. Loses the ball. Recovered by the Canes. It's Curtis Porter with the fumble recovery.
We talked about Miami's defense forcing a turnover. Right here, just a power play, and that's Denzel Perriman that comes through on the 2nd level. He's been a playmaker for this Miami defense his entire career. Gets a hat right on the football, and Porter's the beneficiary.
First reps for Matt Jones in a month. Had a viral infection, lost some weight. And hasn't really practiced. Well, that was just a great play as they run Duke Johnson on first down into the pile. And he gets 2 yards. Leon Orr wraps him up. Some pushing and shoving afterwards. Stephen Morris, who set the Miami single-season record for total offense a year ago. What'd you think of his game last week when you watched the film against Florida Atlantic?
Well, I thought the passing game in general did not look sharp. It wasn't all Stephen Morris. He's got some wide receivers that are just learning how to play the position. You've got some tight end that's new. And Stephen Morris, obviously with a new offensive coordinator in James Coley, they've got to look sharper today.
Inside run, and Duke Johnson able to get the first down to the 35-yard line. That's 13 yards for the man who led all running backs in rushing yards in week 1 with 186.
The Hurricanes came into this football game thinking that they could play with the Gators. So important in the first couple of drives to get that momentum. They get a turnover and then a big run.
And they get there quickly to the line, and on play action, a rollout. And a completion to Allen Hurns, short of the marker by a yard. That's a gain of 9.
They've got to move the pocket against a good rush from Florida. Nakeds are going to be a big staple in the offense today for Miami. You'd love to see Hurns get upfield and get a first down right there.
Again, quickly to the line here for second down and a yard. And it's Johnson. First down and more. Wrestle to the ground at the 15 after a 12-yard pickup. This is a guy that gets yards in chunks, and Florida normally doesn't give up big yardage on the ground.
Well, and he is a streaky back. If he gets going, look out. He can score from anywhere on the football field. Miami is a zone stretch team, meaning they're going to get him to the edge, and that's a vulnerable spot for this Florida defensive line.
Miami's got 26 rushing yards on this drive. Florida gave up 50 for the entire game last week. Here's a pass to Johnson in the flat, and he's wrapped up at the 10. There is a flag down at the 2-yard line. 5-yard gain on the play. See what the penalty marker's for.
They got Allen Hurns, the wide receiver, for a cut downfield.
1 on the offense. 15 yards from the end of the run. Still first down.
Got Jalen Watkins.
You got to be smart in that situation, knowing that you're on the backside of a play and that whether you make that block or not is not going to make a difference in the outcome of the game. So don't go for a questionable block in that situation. Stay up high, be smart. That's part of being a disciplined football player, and that time there was no reason for Hurns to try to go low.
So it's first down and 20 at the 25-yard line. Roll again to the left for Morris. Looking back the other way. Being chased. Morris stumbles and falls to the ground at the 22. So it's a 3-yard gain. He had Dante Fowler's big and fast off the edge, chasing him.
This was a great opportunity, obviously, for Miami. You don't want to waste a turnover on the first possession. But the penalty is put him behind the down and distance, and you got to be smart if you're Stephen Morris.
So second and 18. They'll go with 2 backs here. And that's Higgins, the fullback, who the coaches say will be the key to this game. 7th play of the drive coming up.
Got man-to-man coverage on the outside if they want it. Both corners up, bump and run.
And Morris setting up in the pocket. And delivers. Inside the 20-yard line is Johnson. We got another penalty flag, and that's thrown in the area of a personal foul, roughing the quarterback.
Roughing the passer, number 2, on the defense. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
So that's Dominic Easley. It would have been 3rd down and about 10. Instead, it's a first down after the 15-yard tack-on foul, or half the distance to the goal foul by Easley.
Well, Dominic Easley trumps the penalty from Hurns, just coming up late, especially high, and driving the quarterback into the ground.
So first and goal from the 7-yard line. And Morris to the air. Back shoulder throw is broken up. by Jalen Watkins, intended for Clive Walford, the tight end.
Well, Miami thought they had a size advantage on the outside with their tight end Walford, but they failed to realize that Jalen Watkins is a heck of a corner, whether he's covering a wide receiver or if he's covering a tight end, and didn't have to worry about the speed of Walford, so he just looked back for the football.
Last year, Watkins had 3 picks, including 1 for a touchdown, so he's a playmaker in the secondary. 2nd and goal at the 7-yard line. Another pass play. Morris going end zone again. It's caught. Touchdown, Herb Waters. An excellent throw by Stephen Morris to sophomore Herb Waters. One of their best receivers, Rashawn Scott, is out today because of an injury, so guys like Waters have to step up, and he did on that play.
Well, they got the matchup that they liked. Waters on Cody Riggs, the safety. The ball is thrown absolutely perfect. And he definitely got 2 feet in bounds and left a divot just to make sure the official saw he got in. Great throw and catch. Morris to Waters, and if they continue to get that matchup with their wide receivers on safeties like Cody Riggs, I think they'll take that all day long.
That's a 2nd touchdown pass of the year for Stephen Morris.
Touchdown.
As they just announced that the ruling is confirmed, so it is a touchdown. Morris last year had 21 touchdowns. His final 4 games, he was spectacular. He and Duke Johnson both last year at the end of the season were great. One thing Miami didn't do well last year, play well against ranked teams, as the point after is good. Miami was blown out by Kansas State. Notre Dame, not only do they want a good showing today, they want to knock off the 12th ranked Gators, and they are off to a good start.
Hurricanes jump out to a 7-0 lead. They're going to get man-to-man coverage on a consistent basis. How do they beat man-to-man? You got to run the corner route. Herb Waters does a nice job of snapping it off, and a perfect throw from Stephen Morris. If they're going to score points against a very good Florida defense, they've got to throw and catch in tight windows like that and take advantage of man coverage.
Drive for Miami with 29 rush yards and 28 passing yards on the opening possession after the turnover. A fumble by Matt Jones on his 2nd carry of the season. Solomon Patton, the deep man for Florida. And a stutter step by Patton, and he will not reach the 20. Down at the 17. Say hello now to Reese Davis in the studio.
Oh, Dave gets you started with Purdue, who got just walloped by Cincinnati last week. A little trickeration on the kickoff. B.J. Knopf gave it to Akeem Hunt, and Akeem Hunt's going to log on. 90 yards, boiler up. They are up 7-0, a little over halfway through the first.
7-0 score here as well, Reese, with Miami on top. The Gators did not give up a touchdown in their win over Toledo last week. Driscoll in a pistol formation on 1st down at the 18-yard line. Miami brings a safety down in the box, and that guy almost tipped the ball. It's caught by Patton, and he's loose down the sideline. Come up about a yard short of the 1st down. Tom, what did you see down on the field there from Florida defensively on that drive?
Well, I really saw a discombobulated defensive front 7, and Miami did a terrific job of keeping them off balance, on their heels, a naked, some counter, some quick screen, get them running sideline to sideline. And Brian, I like James Coley, the offensive coordinator at Miami's pace early on. He is really running and gunning right now.
Yeah, he really wants to mix that pace, not go fast all the time, not huddle all the time. I think he did a nice job of keeping them off balance.
Well, this formation, you got 2 fullbacks and a tailback as Jones trying to pick a hole, and he's close to a 1st down. Tackled by Olsen Pierre. and Shayon Green.
Dave, have you been a little surprised, and Brian, at the lack of discipline from Florida? 2 personal foul penalties, a fumble from a running back in Matt Jones that did not play last week. Very uncharacteristic of a Will Muschamp coach defense.
Yeah, and it's an emotional game. Whether you like it or not, this is a rivalry game. Will Muschamp knows the emotions of these kinds of games, especially early in games when you're trying to establish that physical nature, and you just got to be smart in those kinds of situations.
They got the first down. Now Driscoll to the air. Gonna fire deep. And, oh, what a catch. But it's out of bounds. Dunbar still with a great grab, but the pass was thrown out of play. Tracy Howard had coverage for Miami.
Well, and this was a dangerous throw. You see Howard has great position. That ball had no chance of being completed. That's one of those throws that you don't like to see from your quarterback, where you're just hoping to make a play. The play is out of rhythm, and you throw the ball down on a guy like Tracy Howard, and 9 times out of 10, he's going to come up with an interception.
Your quarterback looking to gain confidence, and your team turns it over. Now you play from behind. How hard is that?
Well, it's early in the game. I mean, it's a 7-0 game. I'm Jeff Driscoll. Just continue to operate the offense as we practiced all week.
2nd and 10. And they'll run it. A delayed handoff. Jones, and he gets walloped at the 30-yard line. Florida player Gideon Ajabi, a fullback, lost his lid, so have to come out of the game for a play. A very physical start on the line of scrimmage.
And this was the biggest question for Miami. Can they match the physical intensity of this Florida offensive line? And early returns say they absolutely they can. They have stuffed the running attack, whether it's Matt Jones or Mac Brown. They've had an answer.
Florida converted a 3rd and 10 on its opening drive. Here's a 3rd down and 9. Driscoll in trouble. Hit as he throws. Incomplete. Trying for Dunbar. Tyreek McCord got pressured on Driscoll, and it's 4th down.
Great rush by McCord. Here he is right here. He's just going to come around the edge and beat the offensive tackle. Tyreek McCord, a young player, great move and speed, a true sophomore. That feels good when you come in and make a play like that early for your team.
Kyle Christie could play a big role today. The punter for Florida is very good. Trying to keep it away from Philip Dorsett and maybe get it over his head. And the fair catch made at the 25-yard line. Miami's offense back on the field when we return after a 45-yard punt and no return.
The race. ESPN College Football is presented by Cars.com. Get the right car without all the drama. Cars.com. All drive, no drama. And in part by the bold look of Kohler. Bold will make your reality a dream.
Oh, you think of some of the great offensive talent that Schnellenberger, Jimmy Johnson, and Dennis Erickson had during those national championship seasons. And going back to Frank Gore and Andre Johnson, it's been a while since they've had an absolute star on offense, and maybe Duke Johnson is that guy. It's early. He's a sophomore, but he had close to 1,000 yards last year. Most of those came late in the season. Had a great week 1. Already very active here in game 2. He's got 5 touches of the 9 plays run by the Hurricane. There's another touch by Johnson, but this time he cannot get away from Michael Taylor, the middle linebacker. And some pushing and shoving after the play. Has to be broken up. Taylor getting into it with Johnson.
Well, you know, the most impressive thing to me about Duke Johnson, everybody talks about his speed and his ability and his vision to cut on a dime, but it's his toughness. You saw that last run. He does not go down easily. First contact does not get him on the ground, and he's become that more physical presence, which his offensive line really appreciates.
He'll get the check from the sideline. 2nd down and 8 on the Miami 27-yard line. Florida has some guys that were suspended last week that are playing today, including Luchez Purifoy. They're going to throw at Purifoy, and the pass was high for Dorsett. Otherwise, he was open, and then some jawing with Dorsett and Michael Taylor after that play. It's 3rd and long.
And what you saw right there from Stephen Morris is, I think, what James Kohler, the offensive coordinator, is going to try to do in this game. Come out in a set and allow him to read the defense and then signal a route on the outside when they know that Florida stacking the box to stop Duke Johnson. Let him throw an easy hitch route on the outside. You just have to complete that ball to come up with a 3rd and 1 situation instead of 3rd and 7.
Florida crowding the line of scrimmage here. They're 3rd down and 8. Pressure coming, and Morris going deep, and he threw it way off the mark, trying to hit Dorsett. He had time to throw as well. Again, a little extracurricular activity between the linemen, but no penalty flags.
And that's a missed opportunity for Stephen Morris. You have 3rd and 8, and Florida brings pressure, and the offensive line does a fantastic job of picking it up. You got man-to-man on the outside, and Stephen Morris threw that ball about 5 yards short of where he should have, throwing the go route down the field.
Marcus Roberson, who had a 38-yard punt return, is deep. Pat O'Donnell, who kicked at Cincinnati, was a 2nd-team All-Big East performer last year, graduated, and was able to transfer and get 1 more year because of the grab. As the punt is blocked at the 15-yard line, and the Gators will have it at the 10. Luchez Purifoy, who is terrific when it comes to blocking punts, was back there for Florida. Suspended last week, but available today, making play.
You're going to see him right in here. He's behind those 2 guys. He's going to split them right between. They take both of those guys. What a great design block by Florida to have 2 blockers that are eaten up by the defenders. It's Morrison that comes in, and that frees the lane right up the middle for Luchez Purifoy. Great design by Will Muschamp and his staff.
Remember, the rule, too, is you can't jump over the shield. Well, the shield divided there because of the 2 players next to him and how they ran their lane.
It was very well done. That was Michael Taylor and Antonio Morrison that were right in front of Purifoy. Beautiful execution.
1st down and goal at the 10. And here's Matt Brown, who gets upended at the line of scrimmage by Armbrister. Brown carried the load last week with 112 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, with Matt Jones still recovering from that viral infection. Well, we mentioned Purifoy. He had 2 blocks last year. Such an impact on defense, special teams. You might see him on offense today as well for Florida.
You've seen Miami defensively now get 2 stops early in this game. Now a sudden change situation, very different. Can they keep Florida out of the end zone?
With a 2 fullback look. And here's Driscoll off the fake. And he'll walk in. Touchdown. Jeff Driscoll, who has more zone read rushing yards than Tim Tebow had at Florida. How about that stat? Goes for 9 yards there on a score and a chance to tie for Florida.
Rivalry games are so important early in the game when you have momentum plays, turnovers, block kicks.
Oh, they fake it here and throw it out into the flat. Breaking tackles. Burton trying to get in, will not. What about that call there? A.J. Highsmith with the tackle on Burton and no conversion.
Well, they had Tyler Murphy in the game, their backup quarterback. They had to alert, but Miami was ready for it. Welcome back to South Florida. If you're Miami defensively, you have got to respect the running game. You're going to see here Armbruster's going to take the dive, and then they get the lead block from Joyer, and there's nobody left for the quarterback. Armbruster comes down. Joyer leads on the safety, and that's an easy 6 points for Jeff Driscoll.
What do you think about the decision to then fake the extra point and go for 2, or is that simply a read based on the defensive look?
Every team is different, but a lot of teams will read that. But if you're a coach, if you're going to put that formation out there, what you're saying to that quarterback is you have the option to make that decision, so you've got to live with it if he makes the wrong decision and they don't get a score.
Burton was tackled short, so a failed conversion, and it remains 7-6 Miami. Duke Johnson, who had 2 kick returns for touchdowns last year, is the man who's got it here at the 10. And Florida all over him. They smoke him at the 15-yard line. Let's check in with Reese in the studio.
All right, Dave, Eastern Michigan was 2-10 last year, 1-0 so far this year after beating Howard against Penn State. The freshman Christian Hackenberg just dropped the ball. Hunter Matt takes it in, and Ron English's team has a lead. They're late in the first quarter in Happy Valley.
1-point game here, Reese, with Miami on top and the Hurricanes with the ball at their 16-yard line. Miami trying to prove that it belongs in the national conversation again. 7 wins last year, 5-3 in the ACC, but ineligible for the postseason. A self-imposed ban for the second straight year as Duke Johnson takes it off the edge. And Johnson breaking tackles and finally shoved out of bounds at the 20-yard line by Marcus May. How important, Lugs, was Duke Johnson to Al Golden's recruiting class while Golden's trying to recruit with this huge NCAA cloud over him?
Guys, he was the absolute glue. He and Tracy Howard and Herb Waters, those guys, whenever they went bad, they banded together, and that class got stronger amid all the allegations.
You see the talent of Johnson can reach in so many ways. They fake it to him here, and he gets a great cut block. And an open man on the near side is the tight end Walford. Out to the 40 or the 34-yard line. 13 yards and a first down.
I really think a big key for Miami is fishing the flats. They've got to get the football in the flat on nakeds to their tight ends. They've got to throw short routes to wide receivers. You play this Florida defense, the weakness is in the flats because they play so much man-to-man coverage and the corners are gone. Great job by Miami getting it in the flat.
Here's Johnson on the carry to the 40-yard line. What that block that Johnson had on the previous play on Dante Fowler coming screaming at him. He went low and upended him.
Well, you know, when you play Miami offensively, you're going to play a disciplined team. Al Golden is a very disciplined coach. He said, I don't want any selfish players. I want wide receivers that can block on the edge because I know I've got a game breaker at the halfback position. If I get blocks on the edge, he could go the distance.
Easily, maybe their best player in D out for a play because of losing a helmet. Excellent tackle in the open field by Brian Poole on the catch made by Herb Waters. There's nothing there. It'll bring up third down.
Third down and 4 here. Last week, this Florida defensive line jumped offside 5 times. If I'm Miami, I'm using my snap count for sure in this game, especially in 3rd and 4 situations.
Easily not coming back on the field. Only got to sit for one play when you lose your helmet. But he's still on the sideline. Morris, and that pass pulled in for a first down by Allen Hearns. Tom, what's going on with Easley on the sideline? How come he didn't come back that last play?
Well, he's on the sideline, and he's worn out. That wasn't just about getting his helmet knocked off. I think this pace of Miami is really putting Florida on its heels. I believe it's unexpected. They're having a hard time lining up, and they've got a lot of hands on the hips, guys. Hot, humid early down here. James Coley's pace right now taking its toll.
That's big not having him in the game for Florida.
It's huge.
Play action pass. Morris looking deep, airing it out. Got a man. Dorsett is there. Touchdown, Miami. Oh, Morris took a lick, too, as he released it. 52-yard touchdown pass. Second touchdown pass today for Stephen Morris. A 6-play, 84-yard scoring drive. And the point after makes it 14-6. Hurricane.
You get a steady dose of Duke Johnson. You've got to respect him and his ability to run the ball if you're Florida, but you can't expose yourself on the back end. That's exactly what they did, and Dorsett went in for an easy touchdown. Miami takes a 14-6 lead on a big play action play. You're going to see the safety Marcus May right here. A post route from Dorsett. May is just a redshirt freshman. He's got to have the discipline to be as deep as the deepest. And that time he allows Dorsett, who's got 4.5 speed, to get on top of him. That's an easy throw and catch for Miami.
Hey, one of the guys trying to replace Matt Elam, first-round draft pick by Baltimore. There are 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick off this Gator defense from a year ago.
And they lost Josh Evans, too, a pretty darn good safety.
A terrible kick there out of bounds. It's going to be great starting field position for Florida. Here's Tom.
You know, that defensive front for Florida, as I mentioned, tired. They're dragging. The pace of Miami has really got them in a situation where it's difficult for them to do some of the exotic looks and create confusion. Some of the nose tackle end twists, the linebacker nose twists have been neutralized, and it's creating a pocket in time for Stephen Morris to scan the field. If I'm James Coley, I'm not taking my foot off the pedal right now because Florida is guessing.
Let's see what kind of adjustments will Muschamp and company make for the next series. They do get good field position after the kickoff went out of bounds. First down at the Gator 35. Miami trying to call timeout here, and they did not get it. Or did they? Okay, the whistle blew. Too many guys on the
offensive line. 5 yards, still first down.
So they get a break. Miami's trying to call timeout, and they get a penalty on Florida for the false start.
You're going to see, trying to get a timeout. That's Jimmy Gaines right there. Saw something he didn't like, and he didn't get it, but he's thankful now he didn't get it.
Had 11 guys, so it must have been a look by Florida.
Just to finish up on what Tom Luganville was talking about, I think a lot of people would argue that Florida has more talent coming into this game, but that doesn't mean that they're in better shape. And a lot of times you play games early in September in the heat. It's not about how talented you are, it's about how much in shape you are.
Empty set here for Driscoll on 1st and 15, and a screen to Showers. Wrapped up short of the 35. That's only a 3-yard gain.
You know, Miami on defense seems to be in good condition, but the thing I've been impressed, guys, they have been gap sound. They're not very big and they're not very deep, and they're undersized at linebacker. That's where the concerns have come from stopping the run. But they're where they're supposed to be. They've maintained leverage, and they're not allowing plays to break to the perimeter. Squeezing things inside plays to their advantage.
And you get Florida behind in the down and distance. That doesn't hurt either. 2nd and 12 now for the Gators. They fake the inside run. Pressure coming. Driscoll gets hit as he throws deep. And it's made. Oh, what a grab at the 21-yard line by Solomon Patton. It seemed like that ball hung in the air for a minute, and Patton ran under it for a big play, 46 yards.
Patton is the fastest wide receiver on this Florida Gator team. You can see his speed there as he just runs by the defense and makes a great adjustment. This ball should have been thrown more towards the middle of the field. Would have been an easier catch, but a great adjustment. And Jeff Driscoll throwing with poise from the pocket so far in this game.
Shayon Green was breathing on him, but he got rid of it in time. So a first down for Florida on the Miami 21-yard line. Back to the ground, and Jones planted at the 18-yard line by Perryman. A gain of 3 there for sophomore Matt Jones at 6'2", 226. He was down to around 200 pounds after he had that strange infection he contracted before camp. He missed a month. Did not play in week 1. Only had 52 carries last year. They think he'll have that by week 3 or 4 this year. He's their featured back. On the last play. Now Driscoll on the option. Takes a couple of shots, including one late. And there comes the flag. Jenkins and Rogers on the tackle. And Jenkins is shaken up. There's definitely a late hit.
The play was on the ground. Personal foul. Number 93 defense. After this is to the goal. There's an automatic first down.
Luther Robinson just couldn't hold up in time when Driscoll hit the deck. So Florida in business. Driscoll hit hard and then hit late by Luther Robinson. Gators driving. They're down 8 to Miami. if you're wondering, hey, whatever happened to that NCAA investigation of Miami? Well, it's still going on. More than 2 years running now since the investigation began into football and men's basketball. The Yahoo Sports report in August of 2011, and then the self-imposed postseason ban November of that year. They had a second postseason ban imposed by the school last year. And then you had the investigation into the internal of the NCAA comprising integrity. And then Al Golden, despite not knowing about any of this, when he took over, has done a tremendous job. Now we're in the window where they should find out soon. Officials appeared before the Committee on Infractions at a hearing about 12 weeks ago.
We're past the window. They should have known a long time ago.
Trey Burton in, running the Wildcat, and slips one tackle, but then can't get away from 3 defenders there. It was Curtis Porter there first. So a loss on the play.
We were talking with defensive coordinator Mark D'Onofrio yesterday about the need for this Miami defense when Trey Burton is in the Wildcat to swarm him. They're not worried about him throwing the football. They're going to take everybody from the defensive line, linebacker, and secondary and force Trey Burton to make a decision in that pocket. And that time, great swarm to the pocket.
Second down and goal on the 11. And Driscoll. Oh, had a man wide open. Quentin Dunbar off play action, and it's a touchdown. But Driscoll put too much on it. Overthrow.
Yeah, he's wide open. Dunbar does a nice job of being patient. There is a linebacker in the lane, but that's a ball you got to have on target. You got to be confident. And this is the thing that Jeff Driscoll has struggled with at times, is being confident of where that ball needs to be placed, not worrying about the ball getting tipped or intercepted. Throw it where you know it needs to be, and it's a touchdown.
12 touchdown passes for Driscoll. Didn't make a lot of mistakes. 5 interceptions last year. Lost a fumble last week against Toledo in the win. Driscoll on 3rd and goal with time. Everybody covered. And Driscoll throws into traffic where it's intercepted. Picked off by Jenkins. And then Driscoll with the tackle at the 23. Another Gator turnover deep in Miami territory. Throw you can't make.
The Cardinal sin is throwing over the middle late. Despite the fact that he looks open, when you throw it late over the middle, there's all kinds of traffic in there, and it costs his team 3 points at least.
Dave Pasch, Brian Greasy, Tom Luganville in Miami as you're watching the ACC on ESPN.
Go back to the last interception, and you're going to see, here's Rashawn Jenkins right here, and what you see is Jeff Driscoll changes flip sides of the field with his eyes and then tries to throw the ball late. And Jenkins just reads the eyes. He looks left, he looks right, he tries to escape and then decides to throw it late, and it's an easy read for Jenkins. Take a look at the eyes. I'm left, I'm right, I'm trying to escape, and then at the last minute I just throw a hope throw down the middle of the field. And Jeff Driscoll is a better football player than that.
They run Duke Johnson up the middle in a big hole past the 30-yard line for 7 yards. Michael Taylor on the tackle.
Well, guys, there's 2 basic no-nos at the quarterback position, and Brian can tell you as well as anybody. Don't throw late across the middle, and don't throw late to the sideline.
Oh, Duke Johnson walloped in the backfield by Dominic Easley, who sat a couple of plays on the last drive. Looks fresh right now. It'll bring up 3rd down.
And they need Easley. They need him badly. And in a game like this where clearly it's going to be a physical football game, they need his energy. He is the leader of this Florida defense, and he's not going to help him on the sideline. He has to continue to make plays and penetrate in the backfield.
He did have the flu early in the week. Don't know if that's still impacting him here on game day. 3rd down and 6. 3-yard loss. Morris wide open as Allen Hearns. Looks like he'll be short of the 1st down, though. There is a penalty flag down in the backfield. That's going to be holding on Miami.
Back-to-back plays now. Easley got into the backfield again and was putting pressure, and I think he's the one that got held.
He's a good yard short of the first down. You wouldn't think with the lead here, deep in Miami's territory, they'd go for it.
10 yards from the previous spot. Still third down.
So they are going to accept the penalty here.
There he is right here. There's Easley. And he gets locked up. Yeah, and that's clearly a hold on Malcolm Bunch. I agree taking the penalty here. You come down on 4th and 1, and that's a 50-50 proposition, especially with Duke Johnson. I think it's a good call by Will Muschamp to move them back, get some pressure on the quarterback. You never know, maybe you get in the backfield, get a strip sack, fumble.
So even from the 30-yard line, you're thinking they may go for it on 4th down.
They might, yeah.
So 3rd and 16. And Morris, everybody covered downfield. A penalty flag down, and Morris stepped out of bounds. Are they going to say that he got rid of it before he stepped out? Incomplete pass is the call, and another holding penalty. Well, Easley was getting held again.
Holding, number 74 offense. That penalty will be declined. 4th down.
This Miami offense had such good rhythm, and they got into a rhythm, and you'll see right here, you're going to see the hold on the backside, but Miami's now taking a step back, and when you have penalties, it's hard to get into a rhythm, but you're going to give great field position to the Gators.
Oh, high snap. Florida's already blocked one punt. They get it away, though, and it's an excellent kick. It sticks at the 26 and then touched at the 28-yard line.
Great direction to that punt, too.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Ties that go the distance. Make Goodyear a fan favorite. Goodyear, more driven. A sold-out Sun Life Stadium for the 55th meeting between Florida and Miami, and maybe the last. The last scheduled regular season meeting now. And with the SEC possibly going to a 9-game schedule, and Florida already set to meet Florida State on a yearly basis.
Yeah, it's a shame. It really is, because it's a great rivalry, and we see again and again the super conferences and the shifting tectonic plates in college football are making rivalries like Texas and Texas A&M and Michigan Notre Dame and Florida
Replay
Miami.
will be suspended until further notice.
Just caught the end of that. Sounded like there's an issue with the replay monitor, so it's suspended now. So no replay available. Old school. Here's Matt Brown across the 30 to the 31 for about 3. Tackle made by Luther Robinson. Here's Tom.
Well, Golden talked to us this week, and he said, guys, this thing's not going to be won in the first quarter. It's going to be won in the 4th quarter. It's going to be punch, counter punch, a battle of attrition, and it's going to begin and end up front. So far, that's how this game has played out. And on a side note, guys, I think Dominic Easley has our broadcast in his helmet. He was a war daddy on that last series.
He heard you talking bad about him down there, Luke.
Did, man.
Got held twice. Now Florida with a 2nd down and 7 on its 31. Driscoll's last pass was a pick. And here he throws wildly, trying to hit true freshman DeMarcus Robinson. So it's 3rd down and 7.
And Brent Pease has got to get his quarterback settled down. The last 2 throws have been very questionable. Can't operate this offense if your quarterback is frazzled. And right now he needs to settle down. On the flip side, Miami, if you're defensive coordinator Mark D'Onofrio, 3rd and 7, I'm going to heat up Jeff Driscoll in this situation, thinking he's on the ropes.
4th, 3rd down. The previous 3, 39, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. Converted one of those. There was an interception on the 3rd and 11 play.
Comes a blitz.
It's picked up, and Driscoll gets hit, but delivers it to Burton for a 1st down. And Burton stayed in bounds to get extra yardage. Reaches the 48 for a 17-yard gain.
Sometimes something that gets you back into the flow as a quarterback is making a 1st down and taking a hit, showing your toughness. Chicolo gets Driscoll right under the chin. That's a clean hit, but a great job by Jeff Driscoll, showing his toughness, throwing the ball accurately, and taking a shot for his team to get a 1st down.
And Burton, making Crawford miss, picks up an additional 5 or 6 yards. Gators with a fresh set of downs, just shy of midfield. Here's Matt Brown getting the call and spun forward to the 49 of Miami. Here's Reese in the studio.
Dave, Western Kentucky and Tennessee, the Taco Bell Live Moss moment right now for Bob Petrino. It's Moss turnovers and Moss. This is Brandon Doty being picked off by Cameron Sutton. I want you to listen to this. Western Kentucky has 5 turnovers in their last 6 offensive plays, and the Vols have it back close to the red zone again.
I think Bobby Petrino misses Arkansas right now. They had it rolling there for a while. Here's Showers, and Showers has the first down and more. He didn't get touched till he reached the secondary. A 12-yard gain to the 37-yard line of Miami.
Miami defensively has been so good early in this game against the run. Porter, Chicolo, Pierre, the defensive line, they were the biggest question marks coming into this season for the Hurricanes. They have held up admirably against this rushing attack for Florida. But now as you creep later in the first half, those guys get a little bit tired and you start to see some cracks.
By the way, replay is back and working, so if there is a controversial call, it is available. First down at the 37 of Miami. Here's Mac Brown again. And Brown gets hit by Perryman at the 34. A gain of about 4 or 5 in the play for Brown, a junior from Lithonia, Georgia. You know, some people, Brian, have said, well, Driscoll hasn't really had the talent around him to help him make plays. Well, if you can get Brown and Matt Jones going, that'll certainly help his cause.
Well, the recipe is not going to change for a Will Muschamp coach team. It's going to be the power run game, play good defense, and then have a quarterback that can take advantage of optimum looks on the outside. And certainly with Mac Jones and Mac Brown, he's got the rushing attack he needs.
And Driscoll takes off and fake the throw, and it's a first down. He had a guy wide open down the sideline. He was past the line of scrimmage, though. That's why he didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, it's hard to know whether this was a design, but clearly you see Hearns on the outside, or Dunbar, excuse me, was wide open. But I think you're right. He was past the line of scrimmage and unable to throw that ball. Doesn't look like Dunbar was expecting that ball to come to him.
Those plays have been the only running plays that have really worked for Florida. They're averaging under 3 yards a carry, and it's been the runs by Driscoll that have proven to be most productive. 8th play of the drive so far. 9-minute mark, second quarter. Here's Jones on first down. And again, he gets about 3. Olsen Pierre, the first man there. Renfro cleans him up, so you're seeing hits made by the D lineman of Miami on the Florida running backs.
And what Will Muschamp loves about this drive, obviously you're getting first downs and you're going to hopefully go down and get some points and respond to the turnover on the last series, but you're also giving his defense an opportunity to rest on the sideline as Miami has really come out at a fast pace. And so it's a complementary football that Will Muschamp always talks about, offense and defense.
That was 4 yards on first down. That's good for them today. With a misdirection. The pitch to Jones, trying to stay in bounds along the sideline. Knocked out a play by Shayon Green, short of the marker. So third down coming up. So that 4-yard run by Matt Jones on first down. Pretty good, as Florida has struggled on first and 10 run plays previous to that.
And if you would ask Al Golden, he'd be very happy with the way that his defense has performed on the ground so far in this game. A big 3rd and 2.5 to 3 yards right here.
Last time they were down here in third down, Driscoll threw a pick. They'll run it on 3rd and 2. And Jones able to get the first down. Initial contact made at the line of scrimmage, but Jones at 225 had the strength to stretch and give Florida a fresh set of downs around the 15-yard line. At least it appeared by the initial spot that he had it. They moved it back a little bit here, so they may need to measure now. It looked like he clearly had it first.
But I think Matt Jones is so physical and so big at 226 pounds that sometimes the linebackers that come through gains and the like don't want to take him head on. But he's also very shifty and was able to get past them. But it looks like he was short.
Oh, again, initially it looked like he had it. He was right at the 15-yard line. They moved the spot back. He's short. So what do you do? It's 4th down. You failed to get points last time because of the pick.
I don't think there's any question that Will Muschamp will go for it here. But He did come down a little short. He didn't get that ball past the 16-yard line. That was a good spot.
So they are going to go for it. That's possible. They may twice now in the red zone come away with nothing if they can't convert here. They get their power back. Matt Jones behind Driscoll. And Driscoll on the quarterback sneak. Hit by Shayon Green. And appears to be short.
There's great penetration from the right side of Miami's defensive line. And they stopped him.
Boy, how about Miami's defensive line, which last year struggled, doing a great job against Florida's rushing attack today.
Much maligned, that defensive front. They've come up with big play after big play early in this game. They've been a difference.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by E-Trade and the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado.
Two of the greatest of all time in Florida history, Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer. Urban, your predecessor in this booth, drove him back to coaching, drove your dad to retirement. Your dad, Bob, is here in attendance today.
Some would say that you drove them both to retirement into coaching.
You got some years left in the NFL. I go back, your age. How you like
what
it
a
here.
great game this is to start, right? I mean, lived up to the billing, passionate, energetic, big plays.
Play fake for Morris. And a long throw that's low and incomplete. Tried to hit Allen Hearns, and he had Luchez Purifoy in coverage. 2nd and 10.
And so far, the story of this game has been Miami's defense, in my opinion. They have come out and had a level of intensity that has not been matched by the Gators. One mistake by Jeff Driscoll in the red zone, and then a big 4th down stop. That's been the difference in the game.
That's what the coaches said yesterday. If we don't stop the run, we have no chance. And they've held Florida to under 3 yards a carry. Play fake, another half roll. And this pass deflected and nearly intercepted. Michael Taylor is only about 5'11". He got up that time to tip the ball. It's 3rd and 10.
Well, Stephen Morris might be happy it was tipped because it may have been picked off by Roberson had it not been tipped. Very dangerous throw there. Last thing you want to do up 8 in the first half, you're Stephen Morris, is take a chance backed up in your own end zone.
Only threw 7 picks last year and 1 last week against Florida Atlantic. 3rd and 10. This is where Florida's D-line is at its best. Had a couple holding calls in these situations already this quarter against Miami's offensive line. And Morris nailed as he releases it, and it's nearly intercepted at the 38-yard line by Cody Riggs. It was intended for Herb Waters. So 3 and out for the Hurricane.
You see Stephen Morris taking some chances, and this has got to drive his offensive coordinator crazy right there. That ball thrown, who knows who that ball is being thrown to. Could have been picked by several players, and that could have been easily called as Dante Fowler got his hand up on the face mask of the quarterback.
That should have been called. That's a penalty. You take the mask and you tug or pull it. That's 15 yards. They missed that. Roberson is deep. Takes a Miami bounce inside the 30, so Roberson fields it at his 20. He's got nowhere to go. That worked out pretty well for Miami. Didn't look like it initially on the punt.
Good job by Roberson to field that. Don't let that ball keep rolling in his end zone.
Celebrating its 9th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed more than $3 million in scholarship monies. Florida's had the ball on offense for over 15 minutes, but only 6 points. And twice inside the 30-yard line of Miami, they've come away with no points. They'll go with an empty set here on 1st down on their 21. Jeff Driscoll throwing for Dunbar, tackled immediately by Crawford after the catch and a gain of 5.
Now, defensively, Miami's done a great job tackle to tackle, but that last series, they struggled on the perimeter. They struggled with some of the misdirection from Florida and the Jeff Driscoll runs. I'd like to see Florida get back into that, Brian, as you called it, the diamond formation. 3 backs in the backfield with a running quarterback. So many things to defend when you get into that set.
That is difficult, but give Miami credit. They've forced 3 turnovers, a fumble, an interception, and a turnover on downs. They've done fantastic so far.
Here they go with 2 tight ends and 1 back. And they run out of that formation with Jones between the tackles. Slides to the 30, short of the first down. Denzel Perryman made the tackle, so 3rd down coming up. A run-to-pass ratio almost 2-to-1 in favor of rushing the football for Florida. Be a 3rd and 2. Handoff to Jones after the fake to the wide receiver Patton, and he's close to the first down at the 31. A little creativity there, and it gets him a first down.
Yeah, great recognition by Denzel Perryman, the linebacker, 52. He's not fooled by that trickeration, if you will, and Florida just did get the first down there. Nothing's been easy for Florida on offense. I've been impressed with the Miami defense, and so much has been said about their historically bad year a year ago, and so far the early returns on their performance have been very good. Here's the diamond.
And it's a pass play, and Driscoll has a man deep, instead throws short, and it's caught by Patton near midfield. Gain of close to 18. He had a receiver, Dunbar, running a deep route, elected to go underneath. It still paid off. Big gain to midfield.
Great play action call on 1st and 10. He didn't like it for whatever reason, but that's an excellent throw to Patton. Settles down in the zone. You can't run through the zone. Patton's got great speed, but good feel there. Nets a first down on a play action pass for Florida.
You saw Dunbar running deep. Why not take that shot there?
You got 3 levels there as a quarterback, and you got a 1 high safety that you've got to make the determination whether you're going to take that risk or not. And he took the bluegill, if you will.
Still worked out. 18 yards. Here's Jones off the edge, and on the cutback, a beautiful run to the 42-yard line for 8 yards. Boy, for a guy his size at 225, he's got pretty good feet in the hole. Made a couple of guys miss. Going to be a guy to watch in the SEC, just a sophomore.
Yeah, I think they've done a nice job not putting too much on his plate in this first game back. You see, he gets a couple of plays, and then they'll bring Mack Brown in. Mack Brown played an outstanding football game, had career highs in rushes and yards last week, and he's very capable backup. Those guys are going to be a nice 1-2 punch for Florida going forward in the SEC schedule.
They got their outstanding fullback Hunter Joyer in there with Driscoll in the pistol, and 2nd and 2. Delayed handoff to Brown, and he gets hit at the knees and dropped. Thurston Armbrister makes the tackle for Miami, so it's 3rd down. No gain on that play. Deion Green in there as well for this Miami defensive line. They only had 13 sacks last year. But they've got pressure on Driscoll, and obviously they have stuffed the run on the in-between the tackle run plays so far.
And these are very difficult situations to defend, 3rd and 2 or 3, where the offense can throw the football or run it. And this is when Jeff Driscoll's mobility has really hurt defenses.
Now, Florida's offense has been criticized a lot, not just this year, but last year when they won 11 games. Trying to get a first down here as Mack Brown fires into the pile. And Olsen Pierre nails him. Boy, he hit the hole hard that time. Appears to have the first down. We'll see where they spot it.
We expected to see a physical football game, and these 2 teams have not disappointed. Will Muschamp is trying to create the culture of physicality and toughness. Same thing with Al Golden, and especially both of these defenses have really come out and been physical in this game.
And such a terrific year for Will Muschamp and company last year. Won 11 games, 7-1 in conference. Went to the Sugar Bowl, lost to Louisville. But Muschamp now in his 3rd year trying to take the next step and get back to SEC glory, as it is a first down.
Pierre and then Perriman again. Number 52. He's been in on all kinds of plays in this game. I was impressed watching him in practice. Very smart football player. And just seems to have a nose for the football. Not the biggest guy, 6 feet 6'1", but he's put on 20 pounds of muscle. He's 240 pounds. Plenty of weight to be physical in the run game.
There's that diamond formation again on first down. Florida with, and I don't know where that one was going. He had Joyer underneath, but he threw it to the corner. And there's some pushing and shoving after the play with Curtis Porter getting into it with the center Jonathan Harrison. Again, a lot of these guys played against each other, but in talking with the coaches, they didn't really build up the rivalry at all. Nobody on either team was around in 08 the last time they played.
That was a great job right there, Ian Silberman, of settling down Jonathan Harrison. Harrison's a captain. Obviously, something he didn't like happened with Porter, and Silberman calmed him down, said it's not worth it. Let's get back focused on the task at hand.
Over the plays and plus territory. This is the 24th for Florida. And Showers runs and is near the first down. Spun down at the 32 by Tyrone Cornelius, so it brings up 3rd down and short.
Well, and there's the perimeter run that Lugs was just alluding to at the start of this drive. Florida's had trouble in between the tackles with the power game, so you got to make the adjustment and get that ball on the perimeter. Valdez Showers, the converted safety, who just converted in the fall camp, is great speed, a guy that you can get on the edge, along with Driscoll in the read option game.
Inside 2 minutes to go in the half. Florida with all of its timeouts remaining. Play 10 of this drive. 3rd down and 2 on the Miami 32. It's Mack Brown, and he's got the first down. Inside the 30 before he's driven to the turf by Perriman.
Wow, that's the 3rd and 2 on this drive, where they've turned and given the ball to their backs on the power game, and they've gotten just a half yard past the first down marker before Perriman has put him on the ground. But 3 really big 3rd down conversions for Florida.
3rd time Florida's been inside the Miami 30. Haven't converted yet. Driscoll to throw. Sideline pass caught by a wide open Solomon Patton, who stays in bounds. A first down to the 12-yard line. That's a 17-yard gain.
That's a great decision by Jeff Driscoll. They're off on the outside in bail technique. If the hitch is there, take it. It's an easy 8 yards. That's what the coach is telling Jeff Driscoll. Gets a great first down, and now they're going to go up tempo.
Clock starts on the ready for play. Again, they have all their timeouts left. And a flag down. There was some movement on the line, and Driscoll, in disgust, throws the ball into the turf.
False start. Offense number 73. The play qualifies for a 10-second runoff.
A 10-second runoff inside the final minute of play.
You know, as we start getting into the second half preparations, that diamond formation with Driscoll and 3 other backs in the backfield, expect a heavy dose of that in the second half. You can run speed option. You can run the speed option with the shovel underneath. You've got the dynamic running quarterback. There are so many things to have to defend, and that's been a bread and butter in the second quarter in the run game here for Florida.
So a penalty, and when it stops the clock inside of a minute to go, there is the 10-second runoff. So 46 seconds left. Florida has all of its timeouts remaining. If there's a penalty and the clock is running, then you have the runoff.
But they can use their timeout.
Right. The 10-second runoff. Florida will take its first timeout.
So they'll use the timeout to put the 10 seconds back on the clock. And let's check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Dave, great end of the first half coming up there. Lexus halftime report's not too far away. Taj Boyd, they're in a break right now, and Teddy Bridgewater. Little warm-up games, want to build the foundation of stats. A couple of big games coming up later on today, South Carolina and Georgia. Notre Dame and Michigan. Mark May and Lou Holtz will drop by. We'll look ahead to those two games. Also talk a little bit about what's been plaguing Florida, at least until this final drive, in terms of difficulties in the running game. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
And that game you mentioned is on ESPN, Notre Dame and Michigan. It looks there like Brady Hoke is saying, not in my house, Brian Kelly. He is undefeated at home.
He's telling it, listen, he's saying, this is a rivalry, Brian Kelly.
Brian Greasy was 3-0 against Notre Dame. So are you picking the Wolverines tonight?
I like him. I really like Devin Gardner. I think that he's one of the breakout players this season. Everybody seems to know about him now, but he's only played, this is his 7th start in college football, and so there will be some nerves going on in that stadium tonight.
Final meeting at Michigan Stadium. They'll play next year in South Bend. 1st and 15. I got Showers in motion here, and Driscoll with a middle screen to Burton, and he's able to shake free and then fumble the ball inside the 15-yard line, and it's recovered by Miami. 0 for 3 now inside the 30-yard line of the Hurricanes. Armbruster with the recovery.
Burton was trying to get the extra yardage, and the hand came in there. That's going to be close. That knee,
Jimmy Gaines, who got his hand in there.
That knee was close to the ground when that football came out.
Ruling on the field was a fumble.
Ruling in the field is a fumble. It looked like it came out before the knee hit, but they'll take some time to look at it to be sure.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell from that look. The previous look is the best one.
But to again, Brian, come away with nothing when you've been down here 3 times.
That ball is coming out. There's no question. That ball is out before the knee is down. And now Miami has forced their 3rd turnover in the first half, and they had a turnover on downs. That is 4 turnovers.
Ruling on the field stands.
So it'll be Miami ball. The Hurricanes with all 3 timeouts left and 37 seconds to work with. Now they're deep in their own territory. We'll see if Al Golden is content or if he's going to let James Coley, who is standing next to him, take some shots down the field.
I think they're going to kneel down and get out of town. It's been, there you see, Florida in the red zone, interception, fumble, and a turnover on downs. Miami defense, give them credit in the first half. They're the reason they're up.
Little extracurricular activity between the 2 lines. And normally when you see a kneel down, everybody runs off. And the Florida coaches are motioning to their players, hey, let's go. But there's still talking going on at the 15-yard line.
I think Dominic Easley wants to tell all those guys what he wants to do in the second half. They're going to need him. They're going to need all of them.
Miami will likely start an offense in the second half with a 14-6 lead. Stephen Morris with 2 touchdown passes. Al Golden standing by with Tom Luganville.
Coach, aside from the blocked punt in the first quarter, assess your execution in the first half.
Yeah, we're fighting our tails off. We're playing hard on defense. Had a takeaway, had a 4th down stop. Again, unfortunate. Confluence of a high snap, bad protection on the 2nd level, and a missed assignment on the front level. We got to get that fixed. We did the 2 that we had after that.
The high tempo in the first half of the offense got them off balance. You're going to continue that in the second half.
We're going to continue to mix it. That's who we are. We got to be able to mix tempo and mix groupings all day and finish this thing. 14-6 at the half. We get the ball, though.
Great, Coach. Thank you.
They felt they had an advantage in some of their schemes defensively. And so far, the defense has been the story for Miami. The 14-6 lead over Florida. Time now for the Lexus halftime report. Reese, Mark, and Lou in the studio.
This is college football on ESPN, presented by Cars.com.
He's able to shake free and then fumble the ball in. Turnovers, a big story in that opening half. 3 giveaways by Florida. As you're watching the ACC on ESPN, Miami had the ball for just 8 minutes, but leads the Gators 14-6. Dave Pasch, Brian Griese, Tom Luganville. Florida's defense was not the story as we thought going into the game. It was Miami's defense in that first half. Can they keep it going now in the second half?
Well, they showed 2 things, that they can be gap sound and they can turn the football over. And I think those are 2 things that Al Golden really wanted to see from his defense. Initially, look at the gap responsibility. Nowhere for Matt Jones to go with this football. For a young defense or a defense that hasn't had a whole lot of success, that's a good sign. Then you have, on the second time, look at Porter, number 96, a 2-gap nose guard who forces the offensive center into the backfield and gets a stuff. Then they start getting their hat on the football. Denzel Perriman comes up with a big turnover. They start to get pressure in the passing game and force an errant throw from Jeff Driscoll. And then right before the half, they get one more turnover from Trey Burton. Despite the fact that Florida's offense had almost 3-1 in time of possession, this Miami defense has come up time and again and only gave up 6 points.
That's our Discover Game Changer, brought to you by Discover Card. Miami will start on offense, just 2 yards of total offense in the second quarter for the Hurricanes, but as Brian just said, they barely had the ball. And Duke Johnson is back to receive the kick. Johnson had 8 carries for 46 yards, 5.5 yards a pop. He also had 2 receptions. They'd love to extend that lead and be able to lean on the Florida defense, just give him the football in the fourth quarter.
And I think this is a huge drive for Miami offensively. They didn't have a whole lot of snaps in the first half. Florida's defense should be fresh, but a 21-6 game is completely different than a 14-6, and you can establish your style and your tempo in the second half of this football game.
Stephen Morris threw for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns in that first half. Jeff Driscoll, 11 of 17, but an interception. Austin Harden will kick it deep. And Johnson at the 5-yard line. Up to the 25 and then gang tackled at the 27. Here's Tom.
Well, guys, the questions for Miami on offense coming into this game, could it handle some of the complex looks from Florida's defensive front 7? I think the answer to that question has been yes, for 2 reasons. It's been about the tempo and the pace. I think they've surprised Florida with that. But it's also been simplicity made to look complex. Not a lot of plays for James Coley, the offensive coordinator, but lots of formations, motions, and shifts. And they've got Florida on their heels right now.
Well, they're doing a lot of different stuff for just 26 plays run. Here's Johnson trying to find a hole. Gets wrapped up in the backfield by that fresh Florida defensive line. Dante Fowler, outstanding sophomore from St. Petersburg, on the tackle.
And I think what Tom is saying is Miami's employing sets that look the same, but that are different plays. And that's what keeps the defense on their heels. But make no mistake, Will Muschamp's a heck of a football coach. They will make the adjustments on defense in the second half.
They run again on 2nd and 13, and no running room again for Johnson, who is thrown down by Jalen Watkins. A legal tackle. That's another negative play, and now they're backed up to 3rd down and long.
You know that Muschamp had the year of this defense in the locker room at halftime, and they are going to come out with an intensity at the start of this second half. The key for Miami, they want to win this game, is they have got to match that intensity.
So 3rd down and 14. 3-man front by Florida. They got Ronald Powell standing up, number 7 in white, lurking around the line of scrimmage. He's an excellent player. Missed all of last year with a knee injury after being a starter in 2011. See if they bring him up the middle. Here he comes. And Morris in trouble, and guess who got him? Pass is incomplete, but it was Ronald Powell who stuffed the quarterback, Stephen Morris, to force a 4th down.
When they put Powell in 3rd and long situations on the inside of the defense, it's very difficult for the offensive line to find him. And when you get pressure on from Dominic Easley, who got there first, that's a no-win situation. And Stephen Morris has got to know, I can't hold on to the football that long in 3rd and long.
So O'Donnell will punt, and Roberson is deep. He had 1 punt blocked in the first half, which led to Florida's only touchdown. And a running lane for Roberson. Breaks the tackle on the 30. Out past the 40 and out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Remember, this would have been a 7-point game, but Florida elected to go for 2 out of a look that they had from the Miami defense when they set up for their extra point. It was a failed conversion. We'll see if that point comes back to haunt them. Jeff Driscoll is hoping, obviously, that that's not the case, but he has not really been able to get into a rhythm so far in this game.
Well, he had the one mistake on the interception late in the red zone, and he missed one touchdown throw to Dunbar where he was wide open. So Jeff Driscoll hopefully had a chance to settle down in the locker room. For Brent Peace, talk about your first drive and what you want to try to execute, but Florida's got to get a little bit more production out of the quarterback spot in the second half.
They got Valdez Showers in for Mac Jones at running back to start the third. And here is Showers trying to get the corner. He does. Near midfield before his shoulder blocked out of play by Jenkins. A gain of 8 for Valdez Showers, a sophomore from Michigan.
And we immediately see the adjustment from Florida, not trying to slam it inside, but getting speed to the edge. He's able to outrun Gaines, outrun Armbrister. And I think you're going to see a heavy dose of Valdez Showers. You're going to see probably a heavy dose of the zone read with Driscoll keeping it on the edge to try to keep this Miami defense honest.
Matt Jones is in. They got that diamond package with the 2 fullbacks. We've seen Driscoll wind up in between them, kind of at a pistol set. He's under center here. And Jones somersaults for the first down to the 43-yard line. Gunter credited with a tackle, but a fresh set of downs for Florida, which is run a good bulk of its plays in plus territory, and is on Miami's side of the field again.
Well, Florida's got to feel good about their ability to wear down eventually this Miami defense. 45 plays in the first half. You got to wonder how many plays can Miami defensively defend this power running game.
And 27-play run in Miami territory. First down at the 47-yard line. It's Jones running outside, and not much there. Maybe a yard. Denzel Perryman and Jimmy Gaines on the tackle. Could be the final meeting, certainly in the regular season, between Miami and Florida. Neither athletic director has any plans to continue this rivalry. This was the second game of a series where the first game was actually in 2008. Neither of these head coaches were there. It was Urban Meyer on the Florida sideline, Randy Shannon. A contentious ending when Florida went for a field goal late. Randy Shannon didn't like it, kind of gave the dead fish handshake to Coach Meyer as that pass is pulled in by Burton near the first down marker at the 37-yard line.
Great catch by Trey Burton. Denzel Perryman had good coverage on the right side of your screen. This is a very nice throw on the outside, and Perryman not able to get there. And not only does Burton come down with the football, but he also stretches out to get the first down.
Burton has been all over the place, Brian, in terms of how they use him. We saw him one play as the Wildcat quarterback. A fumble in the first half. Driscoll over the middle to Burton. At the 20-yard line, he makes the grab. 16 yards. Casey Rogers with the hit.
You see a very different Jeff Driscoll, very comfortable now. Play action in the pocket, stands tall, anticipates this throw to Trey Burton in the middle of the field. If Jeff Driscoll can continue to make these kinds of reads and go through his progression and make accurate throws like he did a week ago, that's what Florida's looking for from the quarterback position.
Equipment issue for Trey Burton. Oh, he's out for this play. First down at the 20. They're 1 of 4 in the red zone today, and that touchdown came after a block punt. And here's an end around to Solomon Patton, who gets waylaid at the 21-yard line. A loss of 1, and Shayon Green with a big hit top.
You know, Jeff Driscoll appears, guys, to be a player that has completely forgotten about the first half. Brian, you referenced how comfortable he looked. He was on a third progression with that throw to Trey Burton after the shallow cross and then the deep end behind it. And he has no feel as far as pressure closing in on him. He's ignoring it. I like his demeanor right now. He's showing some maturity and having a short memory.
And that's the thing that everybody's talked about is, can he move on to the next play and continue to have that confidence?
After the loss of 1, there's Matt Jones straight on. And he gets drilled, but again, it's Shayon Green with the hit. You had Justin Renfro, a transfer from Virginia there. We get 2 transfers. There were 4-year players at other schools. Renfro at Virginia, Gilbert at Wisconsin, that are now playing for the Hurricanes.
They went to the waiver wire to get a couple of guys. Well, they got some good players in there, but Florida cannot run inside the tackles consistently. He brings up a 3rd and 8. And here's where the struggles have been for Jeff Driscoll in this offense, trying to convert on 3rd and long.
8th play of the drive, 3rd down and 8. Driscoll hangs in there, and pass underneath to Dunbar, well short of the 1st down. Tackled at the 15 by Perryman. So here comes the field goal unit to try to get some points in the red zone after a nice drive.
The MVP of this Miami defense is Denzel Perryman. No question about it. He has made play after play in the run game. This time, he understands the down and distance. I'm going to let you throw that ball underneath, and I have confidence in coming up and making that tackle short of the 1st down. Outstanding play.
Austin Harden, a new kicker for Florida, replacing Caleb Sturgis, who was a draft pick by the Dolphins. He missed a 39-yarder last week. This is a 33-yard attempt. And he puts it through. So Florida cuts the Miami lead to 5 midway through the 3rd quarter. South Carolina, number 11, Georgia.
I'll tell you, the way Clemson got after that Georgia offensive line, they better figure some things out to stop Clowney on the edge. I don't know whether it's Canarius Gates or Houston at left tackle, but they've got to figure something out quick.
They had trouble with South Carolina's line last year. Since that 52-yard touchdown pass by Stephen Morris to Philip Dorsett, Miami has had 3 3-and-outs and -2 yards.
Yeah, it's almost been a flip-flop of what we expected coming into the game. Miami offensively with a lot of firepower and questions about their defense, but it's been flipped in this game.
And Duke Johnson waiting for it at the 3. Johnson up to the 20-yard line, and that's it. They've kept him in check on special teams. Now for today's Aflac trivia question, which quarterback started in 2 bowl wins with Miami and a bowl win with Florida? I'll give you a hint. He was the honorary captain today, if you read the game notes. You know the answer. You just don't want to give it away. You want the fans to think about it.
I'm not going to give it away. That's a good one, though. I like that one. That doesn't happen very often, although now with quarterbacks that transfer, you know, with their 5th year, like the Russell Wilsons, I think it might happen more.
That's a good point. 1st down on the Miami 20-yard line. Here's Duke Johnson. And no running room again. It's Dante Fowler. Boy, that D-line fresh. Purifoy came in there also in run support to make the tackle on Johnson.
I think Miami's going to have to supplement their running game with a quick passing game. They can't just turn around and hand the ball to Duke Johnson 15 times in the 2nd half and expect to get the kind of movement that they want. Stephen Morris and these wide receivers, Dorsett, Burns, some of these guys, they have got to make some plays in the passing game.
2nd down and 9, and Johnson to the outside, dragged down. Purifoy with the speed takes him to the ground, and boy, this looks like the Florida defense we're used to seeing, Tom.
Well, it does, and I think one of the reasons why you're seeing improvements is they've settled down and they've become a little bit more base-oriented in the sense that they're not trying a lot of complex things, not a lot of exotic pressure looks. They're just lining up and playing defense and saying, our guy is better than your guy. Try to run the football on us.
And you force Miami in a 3rd and long again, which means that D lineman can tee off. He got Ronald Powell put pressure on the quarterback last time, again hovering around the line of scrimmage.
Well, these guys right in here.
Morris has time, firing deep, and it is incomplete. Almost intercepted. Roberson covering Dorsett was right there with him.
You are not going to just line up and run by the corners for Florida. Roberson's in perfect position. That's actually a great play by Dorsett, knocking that ball out. Could have been called offensive pass interference, but
he was out of bounds anyway.
Yeah, there's no chance of that ball being completed, and you cannot run the ball 2 times on 1st and 2nd down and on 3rd and 8 think that you're going to beat this Florida secondary just one-on-one.
Roberson and Farrah caught. Either that or he just took a knee immediately at the 35.
College Football, brought to you by the new 2014 Scion TC, made to go the distance, and Nivea Men's Sensitive Shave Products.
Back here in South Florida last night, #1 Booker T. Washington, #2 Miami Central. Is Florida State head coach Jimbo Fisher on hand to check out one of these outstanding high school football matchups here in South Florida.
Booker T. Washington won that game. Where's Columbus High School, Brian?
we used to be up there, not anymore.
Booker T got all over. Got all over.
A lot of talent from Miami on the two rosters here today. Driscoll on the rollout, dumps it off to Ajabi. He torpedoes and fumbled the ball at the 43-yard line. Got it back, though. Another fumble by Florida, but this time the Gators able to recover it.
Wow. If they don't recover this ball, that would have been their 4th turnover in this game. Again, Miami gets the hat on the ball. And Ajabi very fortunate that that ball came right back to him. That could have been a devastating turnover.
Antonio Crawford forced the fumble. 2nd down and 3 at the 43-yard line. Again, the dominant time of possession, yet Florida still losing. Just 9 points. And Driscoll working to the flat, dumps it off to Showers, and he gets dumped. And now a penalty flag down. A big hit by true freshman Alex Figueroa. A penalty on Florida as well.
Miami coaches are excited about Figueroa. He's got speed and size, brings a physical nature to that linebacker position. And this is an interesting decision here for Al Golden, whether he takes this penalty or refuses it.
Number 73 offense. The penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot. Still 2nd down.
It's a 2nd penalty on the right tackle, Tyler Moore, a Nebraska transfer.
There's Tyler Moore here. He got locked up on the weak side, and Driscoll, he got a paw on the collar there. Clearly a hold.
There's David Gilbert, the Wisconsin transfer, who's getting held on the play. So 2nd down and 13. 6th Florida penalty. And Matt Brown with a big running lane. Past the 40, slammed down at the 44 after an 11-yard gain. So that'll put him in a 3rd manageable situation. 3rd and about 3. Got an injured Hurricane. It's Rayshawn Jenkins, been shaken up a couple times here today. We'll take a break, come back to Sun Life Stadium in a moment. Two of college football's most storied programs square off under the lights for the final time in Ann Arbor. Brian Kelly's Fighting Irish, Brady Hoke's Wolverines, Notre Dame and Michigan tonight at 8 on ESPN. College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. Rayshawn Jenkins was shaken up for Miami on this play here.
Looked like he took a helmet right on the lower part of the leg. He came off pretty gingerly on the off the field. Not sure if it's a knee or an ankle, but he'll be replaced by A.J. Highsmith, who was a converted quarterback and the son of former Hurricane great Alonzo Highsmith.
Meanwhile, Florida with a 3rd and 2. You see, they've been pretty balanced 3rd down so far in this game. Ball on their 44. Driscoll with the pitch. And Matt Brown in trouble. No gain on the play. Jimmy Gaines there for the Hurricanes. It's 4th down, and Florida will punt the football.
Great job by Tyrone Cornelius, number 31. He forces the pitch and then reacts and keeps contained. Outstanding job of playing the option by Cornelius.
Dorsett will drop deep to take the Christie punt. A Ray Guy finalist last year. Got to pin the Hurricanes deep. 5-point Miami lead. And Dorsett on the 15. Oh, he gets walloped. That was Luchez Purifoy racing downfield along with Cody Riggs, two of the faster gunners you're going to see in college football.
Well, and Dorsett shows a lot of courage. His great job catching that ball because it would have been inside the one.
14-9 Miami over Florida. An injury update on the Florida sideline over here. Starting left tackle DJ Humphries will not return. He's got a left knee injury, ice on the knee, as does starting corner Marcus Roberson for Florida. Solomon Patton, the receiver, went into the locker room for the Florida Gators. So some premier players at key positions for Florida out for the remainder of the second half.
Well, and Humphries injured that MCL last week. It seems like he's re-aggravated that. He's going to be difficult to replace. They'll probably shift Garcia out to tackle and bring in Ian Silverman, but I don't think they have any trouble in replacing Marcus Roberson for sure. They got 4 corners that can play.
Play fake for Morris, and a dump off to the tight end Walford. Great balance across the 25, and has the first down at the 27. All right, Athletic trivia question. Which quarterback started in 2 bowl wins for Miami and a bowl win for Florida?
Got to be Brock Berlin, doesn't it?
Yep, started the Orange Bowl with Florida in 2002 and the Orange Bowl in 2004 for Miami, and the Peach Bowl as well. He was here before the game, an honorary captain. We've got some pushing and shoving.
There's no play. Miami had a late substitution. We're going to replay the down.
Again, the offensive line for Miami getting into it with the Florida defensive linemen, and it's the Gators that are backing up the talking so far. And Miami, feast or famine, they've had 7 possessions, 2 touchdown drives, 5 3-and-outs.
And they got to get back to that up-tempo. It was working for them early in the game. Throw the football on first down. It was a nice play action in the flat on first down.
Here comes a blitz, and it was right in the direction of the run play, so Duke Johnson had nowhere to go. It was May, the safety, firing in there. Dominic Easley also there for Florida.
Well, Dominic Easley, there was no blitz. Here he is right here. It's just sometimes he gets off that ball so fast it's impossible to block. Ask any offensive guard in the SEC, and they'll tell you that Dominic Easley is the most difficult guy to block.
285 pounds. Here's a rollout, and Morris going to take off and steps out around the 25-yard line just to get some yardage back. It'll still be 3rd down and long.
Well, you see the respect that Miami's Al Golden and offensive coordinator James Coley have for this Florida defense. They told us yesterday they have to move the pocket. They can't let Stephen Morris be a sitting duck back there, and I think that's what you've seen early in the game.
So 3rd down and 11 for Miami. Sitting on a 5-point lead with 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
This is the scenario where they love to get Ronald Powell off the edge. Great pass rusher.
He comes inside and gets to Morris and makes the sack at the 15-yard line. Powell making his presence felt here in the 3rd quarter.
He was hurt a year ago, didn't play, and he's come back, and he's coming back with a vengeance. Ronald Powell is one of their best pass rushers. That time looked like confusion by the offensive line from Miami, but Powell, when you combine him with Easley and with Dante Fowler, offenses cannot get in 3rd and long situations, or it's...
Oh, they almost got to that, and let's see if the flag comes in. There is a penalty flag as the punter, Pat O'Donnell, was run into by Cody Riggs. Looked like a pretty good acting job by O'Donnell. Should just be a 5-yard penalty, which means still a punt.
5 yard, running into the kicker. Defense.
So they'll just add that to the end of the play. O'Donnell, a little pirouette there afterwards.
Here's the climb.
You know, they came up with that the penalty, the stiffer penalty in the NBA for flopping.
That's right.
Maybe they should do that with kickers now in football, the penalty for flopping.
They fine them money, though. That probably wouldn't work here with college students.
Well, Miami has time and again given Florida an opportunity to hang around in this game. Their offense has not gotten the kind of production they need. Give credit to Florida's defense, but at some point, Florida is going to have to execute in the red zone area and score some points.
Good starting field position for the Gators on their 40. And it's Matt Jones off left tackle. He gets about 3. Again, it's Denzel Perryman in there, junior from here in Coral Gables, taking the tackle.
Look at these yards by quarter. You can see in the second quarter was dominated by the Gators, and now again in the third quarter, Miami just has not been able to get any kind of offense going, and credit Florida with their adjustments defensively.
Here's 2nd and 7. They'll run Jones again. And gets another 3 yards to the 46. Justin Renfro on the tackle. It does give him options now. Run pass here with a 3rd down and 4. And also the option for Driscoll to run. We've seen a lot of zone read runs by him. Saw a pitch on the last possession, was forced by the defender. And a negative play.
This area 3rd and 4. This is where I would love to get the ball in the hands of Valdez Flowers. He's the fastest player on offense. Get him to the edge.
Driscoll on 3rd and 4. Knocked down. Incomplete. Great play by Cornelius. A linebacker in space making the play as 4th down.
There's Cornelius right in the middle of your screen. They're just going to run a little Hank route with the tight end over the ball, and it's played perfectly by Cornelius. That's not easy to do, to avoid the pass interference with the hand on the back and just get that left hand in right before that football gets in.
Christie going to try to pin Miami deep again. Dorsett is back at his 10. Inside a minute to go here in the 3rd. And a very good punt. Fair caught at the 10. Here's Reese.
Dave, it's time for an innovative look brought to you by AT&T. Tonight we'll have Notre Dame and Michigan on ABC. Tommy Reese is coming off a career game, 346 yards against Temple. Watch how well he pulls down the safety with the crossing guy and finds Tavares Daniels with one-on-one coverage on the outside. One of his 3 touchdown passes for the Irish last week. Irish and Wolverines tonight at 8 Eastern.
And don't forget 4:30 Eastern on ESPN, South Carolina and Georgia. Great triple header on ESPN. And we got a quarter plus to go here in the kickoff game, Florida and Miami. Off play action, Morris trying to dump it off to Johnson. And he cannot get away from Antonio Morris and Herb Waters rather on the catch out near the 17-yard line. Look at the drive chart here for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, you take a look and just no production anywhere on that chart. It's been very difficult, and they've got to throw the ball on 1st down. They can't run the ball inside on 1st down.
Pass caught by Hearns, who's loose down the sideline and finally pushed out at midfield.
Marcus Roberson, as Tom Luginbill reported, was hurt. They put Purifoy in there, and Purifoy, normally very sure-handed tackler, and all he does is break 1 tackle, and all of a sudden they're in Florida territory.
That's the first big play we've seen from Miami since that touchdown pass by Morris to Dorsett. 36 yards. Now back to the ground on 1st and 10. No running room for Duke Johnson. John Bullard grabs him, wraps him up, throws him down, and more pushing and shoving after the play. But again, the officials quickly step in, and there are no flags. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter. We thought it would be a low-scoring affair here in Miami. And it's 14-9. Canes on top. The last 8 years, only 1 win against a top 12 team for Miami. Got beat handily in a couple of games against ranked foes last year, but now 15 minutes away from beating number 12 Florida. Can they hang on?
Well, I think Miami has found a little bit of something on offense in the second half of an adjustment, getting the ball in the flats. You play Florida, it can be man-to-man coverage. You run the corners off on the outside, and the flat is open. The flat is that 5-yard area towards the sideline, and Miami's starting to attack on the outside. You see a first down pass here in that last big play. Just run the hitch on the outside. You know it's going to be soft, and give the ball to the tight end. Run off again. There's a lot of meat on the bone in the flat for Miami offensively. That's something that they need to continue to attack.
That's something you call fish the flats? Is that?
Well, you're in Miami. Yeah, you're down here in Miami. You know, you're bone fishing or tarpon fishing and fish the flats. You're not a fisherman, I take it.
Live in Arizona. Here's a pass toward the sideline that's caught by Hearns. This time he can't get away from the defender Vernon Hargraves, the third outstanding true freshman from Tampa. So it brings up a third down. It's 14-9. Florida got a touchdown after a block punt, then a failed conversion. That's why it's 14-9. The 2 touchdowns by the Hurricanes were early. Third down and 3 at the 40-yard line of Florida. They move the pocket again, and Morris gets drilled as he throws incomplete. Trying to hit Herb Waters downfield. Cody Riggs down in coverage, and pressure on the quarterback, so it's 4th down.
That's tough. That's tough. You roll the quarterback out to the opposite shoulder of his throwing shoulder, and Florida had great coverage downfield. Nowhere to go with that football.
Got a timeout here by Florida. We'll see if that's a factor. Calling a timeout this early in the 4th quarter on a punt.
Be like Baylor against Oregon.
They got Trey Burton as the return man here, and Miami all over, but they can't keep it from going into the end zone. Artie Burns was down there and just couldn't keep it from crossing the goal line. Here's Reese.
Dave, I want to let you know what's going on the other ESPN networks. Nathan Shieldhouse having a big day for Illinois, though Cincinnati just drew closer, as you saw. On ESPNU, Michigan State's offense can't score. It's got 1 TD in 2 games. Their defense has scored for the 3rd time this year. South Florida, Michigan State, tight one on the U. Tennessee and Western Kentucky, a wild one on SEC TV.
How about the Miami defense giving up just a total of 15 points so far in almost 2 full games? 3 field goals and a touchdown. They got a 5-point lead, and Florida has to go the length of the field as we start the 4th quarter. Here's Jones, a huge hole, and Jones could not keep his feet, otherwise he would have scored. A.J. Highsmith tripped him up at the 35. There is a penalty and a holding call. That was coming back anyway, and now we got an injured Hurricane. Armbrister. Tyler Moore, that's his 3rd penalty today, and Armbrister is hurt for Miami.
Well, they get more for a holding call, but if you're Miami, that was a gaping hole. There's 73 right here. He's pulling out to block on the edge, and that ball goes back inside. He got his hand outside of the framework. And when you get in that position there, when you're on the side of the defender and the defender's trying to get away from you, then you're always going to get called. But it's hard to know whether it's Moore's fault or whether that ball was supposed to bounce outside. Sometimes that back cuts back, and it's hard that the offensive lineman gets caught.
And Armbrister getting some help. He's played well today. Up front 7 for Miami, all of them have.
The question with the front 7 for Miami now is how much do they have left in the tank? They've been out there for almost 60 plays, and we just started the 4th quarter. Can they find enough gas in the tank to continue to stop this Florida running attack inside the tackles? That last play was a gaping hole.
So 1st and 20 at the Florida 10. Do the Gators have any big plays in them? Driscoll. Trey Burton can't make the catch. Incomplete. Here's Tom.
Now these guys, every time they take 2 steps forward, they take 1 step back. You get the penalty with Matt Jones. You got some pressure coming. Jeff Driscoll shows some patience, dumps it off just like he's supposed to. You get a dropped ball. I think this offense has got to start moving the launch point a little bit with Jeff Driscoll to the point where they make him a run-pass threat on the perimeter. Give him the opportunity to be the most dangerous weapon on this offense.
He has 193 passing yards so far in the game. 2nd down and 20. The throw from his one, get nailed. Oh, incompleted. What a pass and catch. Dunbar on the grab at the 30-yard line. David Gilbert hit Driscoll. But Driscoll at 240 hung in there and completed the pass.
Give Driscoll credit. That's about as big a hit as you ever want to take as a quarterback. And Miami's starting to bring pressure on the weak side. That could have been helmet to helmet. Could have been a penalty there. But Miami is bringing pressure on back-to-back plays. And give Jeff Driscoll credit. He stood in there on the pass to Burton and stood in there on the last pass and completed it downfield.
They're going to measure here to see if he got the first down.
You know, Brian, when they've been at their best, as we get a measurement right here, it's when they've come off with a play action and some of the misdirection stuff. It's created great pass protection and some opportunities to hit vacant zones downfield, as we see Florida with the first down here.
Well, that last play was the play of the game for Florida on offense. That is the kind of play when your quarterback stands in there, shows his toughness, delivers the ball downfield, backed up in your own end. That's how you start to build momentum. Now we'll see if Brent Peace starts to call the game a little bit differently and freer, giving Driscoll some opportunities to throw the ball.
And they have breathing room on their 30-yard line. 1st and 10. Here's Matt Jones. Into a wall of Hurricanes. And a gain of about a yard. Anthony Chickalo, whose father and grandfather both played at Miami, made the stop. He's gained about 40 pounds since he arrived in Miami. Guys in the front 7 and working hard in the weight room. It just, again, speaks to the job that Alec Golden has done in very difficult circumstances, not knowing year to year what the future holds, whether they'll be eligible for the postseason, whether future scholarships might get taken if the NCAA levies a harsher penalty. They're still waiting for a ruling on an investigation that started 2 years ago. Pressure off the edge. Driscoll, and it's juggled and pulled in by Solomon Patton. A gain of about 7 to the 38-yard line.
It's a good, quick decision by Jeff Driscoll. Miami again, for the 3rd time on this drive, decided to bring perimeter pressure. He saw it, recognized it, got the football out of his hands to the pitch on the outside, knowing that if he got Patton the ball, he could make a move.
Matt Jones leads, so let's see what we get here on 3rd down and 3. Valdez Showers has been a playmaker, and they've got him wide to the top of your screen and going with an empty set.
I also love to get the ball to Trey Burton, number 8.
Driscoll hit hard again. Deep pass is incomplete and nearly intercepted by Rayshon Jenkins. Again, Driscoll, just as he got rid of it, had heat right in his face.
Again, Miami brings pressure. This time, Driscoll decides to go downfield. Perriman comes free. For a 3rd and 3, I think you have right here. You got Trey Burton wide open for the first down. He tries to go over the top. Ball could have been intercepted, but don't get greedy. Take what the defense gives you. Stay on schedule. Convert 3rd downs. That's what Florida needs to do.
Dorsett, the deep man. A low kick. He'll field it on the 25 with a head of steam. Pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Marcus May on the tackle. Miami ball on a 5-point lead when we return.
ESPN College Football is presented by Cars.com. Get the right car without all the drama. Cars.com. All drive, no drama. And in part by BMW. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine.
14 points for Miami in the first quarter, but nothing since, and they've had trouble even getting positive yardage. 2 yards in the second quarter, 39 in the third, and just 7 here in the fourth. Duke Johnson, who had 186 rushing yards last week, the most in FBS, has -5 his last 8 carries after a good start.
Florida's defense has upheld their end of the bargain. It's their offense that's hurting them.
And here's Duke Johnson. Break it, tackle here. And Johnson gets nailed and comes up just short of the first down. Jabari Gorman with a hit. That was a big hit as Duke Johnson is shaken up. He made Purifoy miss. I got punished, though, after a 9-yard pickup.
Well, Purifoy had him dead to rights in the backfield. And Duke Johnson made him miss. Great move. This is what gets everybody excited about the ability of Duke Johnson. Goes right by Dante Fowler, and then, boy, if Herb Waters is on his game, the wide receiver number 6, he'd get out in front of his tailback and get a block on Gorman. He might have been in the end zone.
That's 2 missed tackles by Purifoy that have led to bigger gains for Miami. Chance of Duke laying down here from Sun Life Stadium, the sophomore from here in Miami, who set the freshman record for the Hurricanes with 947 yards on the ground last year. He is a big play back, a home run threat. Well, go to the sideline here, and Eduardo Clemens, a senior from Miami, will replace him on 2nd and 1. They're going to shift Clemens out and keep Higgins, the fullback, in there in short yardage here. And they'll give it to him on a quick hitter. And Higgins pushes the pile for the first down to midfield and all the way into Florida territory to the 48. Let's check in with Reese.
Time for a conference update brought to you by Dr. Pepper 10, the Big Ten on ESPNU. South Florida and Michigan State. Bobby Eveld gets hit. Michigan State's defense gets his 3rd touchdown of the season. South Florida gave up 53 to McNeese, and Sparty can't score on them.
Low-scoring game here. 5-point edge for Miami. And a big lane for Clemens. Down to the 30-yard line. There is a penalty flag down, though, at the line of scrimmage. Jabari Gorman, another tackle downfield. I think this is coming back, though.
Holding 74 offense, 10 yards previous spot. 2nd down.
Eric Flowers, and I'm just guessing that it was Dominic Easley that was getting held for Florida.
That would be a good guess. There he is. And Easley's lined up right over top of him. And boy, I don't see it there. I did not see a hold there. Let's look from the other end here. He's got him in this position here, but that's not a hold. Did he try to release? That's
hard to tell if he pulled on him at the end or not. That negates a huge play, and now Miami's back at its 42-yard line. 10.5 to go. Duke Johnson knocked back. It's Clemens in there again at running back with the fullback Higgins, who the Miami coaches said would be the key to this game. Hasn't played out that way just yet. And here's a quick hitter, and the receiver wasn't ready. Philip Dorsett. And that's the right read.
So the corner comes off the edge, and a lot of offenses will sight adjust that. You're going to see it right here. He's going to come off the edge, and a lot of offenses will just run a hitch, and that's what Stephen Morris was expecting from Philip Dorsett. But Dorsett didn't see it. Now, I can't sit here from my position and tell you that was a mistake by Dorsett or by Morris, because if that protection picks up that corner blitz, then Dorsett is right. He should run his route. And Stephen Morris would be wrong.
Dorsett was the one that was upset there. Here comes a reverse. Herb Waters in trouble. Breaks a tackle at the 32. He won't get away from Purifoy, though. Another negative play. Loss of about 6. Now it is 3rd down and more than 20.
The last 3 plays are going to play big into the outcome of this game. This time, try to run a reverse. Interesting point in the game to try to run a reverse, but you have a penalty that brings back a big run, and then you have a missed assignment, which could have been a big play, and now a negative play. And Miami's going backwards when most important time in the game.
And Ronald Powell shaken up for Florida, one of their best defensive players. 14-9. Miami on top and faced with a 3rd and 25 when we come back.
Monday Night Football, Eagles, Redskins, and Texans, Chargers.
Following us, a terrific SEC matchup with Georgia taking on South Carolina. College football presented by Cars.com at 4:30 on ESPN. Georgia looking to bounce back following a loss to Clemson last week. Meanwhile, Miami, led by quarterback Stephen Morris, leading this game, but a 3rd down and 25. Miami got into Florida territory around the 30, but penalties have put them in a situation where they're facing their 4th 3rd and 10 or longer. Going to reset the play clock and now start it.
You got to be smart here. This is not a good position, obviously, to be in. Be smart with the football. Punt is not bad. Your defense is playing well.
Morris to the air, steps up, looks deep, and overthrows his man, and it's picked off by Hargraves. Hargraves, a terrific talent, bringing it back for the Gators, still going. Inside the 30. And they're going to say that he stepped out of bounds. They're saying he stepped out back at the 43. That's being argued by the Florida coaches. But that's it. The play's dead. He stepped out, according to the ruling on the field. So an interception by Morris. A true freshman Hargraves making the play.
Take a look on the sideline. He was trying to get. Yeah, right there.
They got it right.
When we talk about being smart in that situation, knowing the situations of a game. It's 3rd and a mile, and a guy's wide open. You freeze it right here. If you throw the ball accurately, you get a 1st down. But you take a chance and throw the ball 2 yards over his head, and you put your defense in a difficult position. And that's the kind of things that drive fans and coaches crazy about Stephen Morris.
Florida starting in Miami territory. 1st down on the 47. Here's a pass into the flat to Dunbar. Gets a block. And Dunbar near the 1st down at the 37-yard line. He'll have it, a gain of 11. They're fishing the flats.
Well, they're coming out now, and you got to wonder. We said it in the last series, but now with under 9 minutes left in this ball game, how much does Miami have left in the tank? And now after a turnover and a sudden change situation, can they get the stop that they need again with this Florida offense?
You got Showers in the backfield with Driscoll here. Inside 9 minutes to go. And Driscoll takes off inside the 30-yard line. They finally get him to the ground at the 23 after a 13-yard gain.
Well, guys, that was a great read right there. First of all, by Jeff Driscoll being able to make that zone read on the keep. But if you look at the Miami sideline right now, all eyes are on that scoreboard. The offensive tempo for the Hurricanes is taking each play down to 3 to 5 seconds left on the play clock. It's almost as if they're wondering, can we? Can we? And now with Florida driving, it's awfully tight over here.
Inside the 25. They've been down here a lot, but not really successful. Mack Brown off the edge. And a good open field tackle by Denzel Perryman at the 21-yard line. So a pickup of 3 yards.
And boy, you're right. I mean, Florida has been down here, but the red zone has been their Achilles heel. Turnover on downs. They have not been able to convert once they get inside the red zone. Hence, only 9 points, despite the fact that they've had the football 3-1 in time of possession.
Could be the final meeting. And then cleaned up by Armbrister, so not much on that play. It brings up 3rd down. Again, we'll see if the missed conversion by Florida early in the game comes back to impact Will Muschamp. We don't know, obviously, whether it was a read by the quarterback, Tyler Murphy, who is in the game, or it was called from the sideline. Right now they're down 5. 7 minutes to go. Facing a 3rd down and 3 at the 17-yard line. They added seats to Sun Life Stadium to fit everybody in here.
They got to take a timeout. They're confused on offense. It's too important to down.
That's 2 timeouts now they've had to take. 1 on special teams and 1 here with 7 minutes to go. Miami 2017, trailing the Hurricanes by 5.
Third down has been a down where they've gone to Trey Burton. He's been their guy. He's lined up in the wing. Now he's flexed out to the slot.
Neither team this half has converted on third down. Driscoll on the roll-up. Throws a pick. It's Tracy Howard with the INT. Howard all the way back near midfield. That's the second interception that Driscoll has thrown in the red zone today.
The timing was not good between Driscoll and Trey Burton. He was trying to get the ball to him on a quick out. It didn't look like Burton even saw the ball coming. He's just going to come out here, and the ball is overthrown, and Howard is the recipient, but Burton doesn't even have his head around when that ball is thrown. The timing was off. The ball is thrown behind him, and a huge turnover. I think if that ball is even incomplete, they may go for it on fourth down, but no chance.
After the play was over, the dead ball, personal foul, number 26, Miami. Miami will keep the ball. Within the last 15 yards from the succeeding spot. Be first and 10, Miami.
That's just a dumb penalty there. You had the ball midfield. You get an interception. Now you're back towards your 33. I mean, you're talking a field position game here. Rayshon Jenkins, you can't do that.
This is one of the oldest plays in football. He's just a sprint out and a quick out. This ball is thrown high, but it's thrown too soon as well, because Burton doesn't even have his head around it. Watch, the ball is past Burton before he even gets his head around it. They had no chance on that play, and that's just practice and timing and repetitions. And right now, Florida is suffering from not being on the same page.
Duke Johnson back on the field, and oh, he gets hammered to the ground. Swallowed by Damian Jacobs, who beat his man and then beat up Duke. A loss in the play. Tom?
A lot of nervous jitters down here before that interception as people keep glaring to the clock upstairs on this Miami sideline. Now you got a little hop in the step, a little hitch in the giddy-up. Miami feels good. There's confidence now. It's not if we can, it's we're going to.
That penalty, though, may really hurt them, because if they go 3 and out here, they're kicking to Florida, and they'll get decent field position, whereas if you go 3 and out in midfield, you can pin them inside the 10.
There's plenty of time on the clock, 6 minutes, and a timeout left for Florida.
Morris, incomplete, through the hands of the intended receiver. Allen Hurns had Purifoy defending, so now it is 3rd and 12.
But this has been a game of mistakes. It's been a game of turnovers. It's been a game of penalties. And, you know, these two teams, I think when you get into this kind of game, in a rivalry game, it's who at the end, who in the fourth quarter can minimize those mistakes. And Miami's got to be very careful in this situation. The last third down and long, what did Stephen Morris do? Trying to force it down the field, threw it over a guy's head, and picked off.
They're going to run it here. Johnson trying to get the corner. Johnson trying to stretch for the first down, runs into a couple of people on the Florida sideline, and there's a penalty flag down at the 35-yard line, likely holding. And that is the call. That's why Johnson was able to get around the edge. Brian Poole tracked him down, so that negates about a 9-yard gain on the play. Tom? They're going to decline it here. 4th down. They're just assuming that a 4th down and 3, Miami's going to punt the ball, and they will.
You know, Brian, you were talking about mistakes, turnovers, lack of execution. Coaches will tell you most games are lost. They're not won. And on this day, regardless of whether you think Florida may have better players than Miami, he's out-executed Florida. They've made fewer errors. They've created bigger plays and done less things to lose the game than Florida has with just under 6 minutes.
Purifoy the deep, and excellent kick, angled toward the sideline and out of bounds. The official still walking. He'll stop at the 14-yard line.
That's the best offensive play they've had.
Take a look at the scoring today. Not much to show you. Here's a touchdown pass by Morris to Herb Waters. That was in the first quarter, and then Driscoll, after a block punt, takes it. We mentioned in zone read plays, he's rushed for more yards in his career than Tebow did in those particular plays. And then Morris with a deep pass here to Dorsett. Biggest play for the Hurricanes today, 52 yards. Remember, after the touchdown by Driscoll, They did not get the conversion. And then they tacked on a field goal to make it a 5-point contest. 5:28 remaining. Just one timeout. Florida had to burn 2 this half. Driscoll keeping. And a good job by Gaines. Make sure Driscoll wouldn't have to cut it back. And he picked up only 2 yards on the play.
As bad as it's been for Florida on offense, the 4 turnovers, the turnover on downs, the 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, as bad as it's been, there's 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter on the road in a rivalry game, and the game is in your hands. Forget about all that other stuff. Come out and execute, see if you can win the game. This is what college football is all about.
2nd and 7. Driscoll with time. Everybody covered. Now his pass is incomplete. Trying to hit Robinson underneath with Jimmy Gaines, a speedy receiver, running with him. So it's 3rd down and 7. Driscoll has thrown for 231 yards with 2 interceptions. He had a lost fumble last week. A lot of people questioning whether a quarterback who can win these games on the road, he's got a chance to prove it. You see his numbers on 3rd down so far today. His 2 picks came on 3rd down.
This crowd is into it now on 3rd down. It's loud in here.
From the 17, 3rd and 7. Driscoll gets down, ball's out. Still rolling around at the 5-yard line. And recovered by Miami. Tyreek McCord with the forced fumble and the recovery. And it's Miami ball inside the Florida 10. Let's see if the hand was going forward from Jeff Driscoll.
This is the 2nd time that Tyreek McCord has beaten the right tackle, the left tackle. He comes around, and that football comes out before the arm is going forward. That looks like a fumble. The ruling on the field, remember, is a fumble.
Looks like it's out before the hand motion starts forward. Tyler Moore shaken up for the 2nd straight series, right tackle for Florida.
And give credit, it was loud on that snap. The loudest it's been all game. Gave Tyreek McCord an opportunity to get off on the edge and went right around the left tackle.
The further review, ruling on the field stands.
The ruling on the field stands. So now if you're Miami, even if you just get a field goal, because of the failed conversion by Florida, they would have to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion just to tie.
It's been a long time since this stadium cheering for the Miami Hurricanes has been this loud.
Ball at the 5-yard line, 1st and goal. And Duke Johnson, despite getting hit hard twice, back out there. And they'll give it to him. Trying to find running room, it's not there. He gets pounded. Morrison and Jacobs. Gain of 1. This will take time off the clock here as they peel the bodies off the pile. You know, the perception is going to be, I don't know if it's reality, Grease, but the perception if Miami wins this game is that the Gators are back. Is it too early to say that if they hold on and win this game?
That if the Hurricanes are back, you know, I think what happened here today is the Gators came on the road in a hostile environment and turned the ball over 5 times. And that's the story of the game. You cannot turn the ball over 2, 3 times on the road and expect to win.
They took a lot of time off the clock. 2nd down and goal at the 4-yard line. Morris to throw. In trouble. Being chased. End zone pass is incomplete. And a flag. Asante Cleveland being covered by a defensive end, Dante Fowler. And a penalty marker.
Well, this was a busted play.
Pass interference. Defense, number 6, in the end zone. The ball will go to the 2-yard line and advance in a previous spot. Automatic automatic first down.
And Dante Fowler's got his hands all over Cleveland and doesn't look back for the football. And he's a defensive end.
He's not used to looking back.
Outside linebacker. He doesn't know how to play a fade route in the end zone. And that's pretty clear that he's got his hands all over him. If you don't look back for the ball, they're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Although was that a catchable ball?
I think so.
So ball at the 2-yard line and a fresh set of downs. First and goal. It's Duke Johnson. Touchdown, Miami! They can tack on one. You put Florida in a situation where they have to score twice with a touchdown and then another touchdown. They need 2 TDs in 3 minutes and 29 seconds, down 12. Here are the mistakes they've made throughout the day. The fumble early here by Matt Jones, who was recovered by Miami. Driscoll, a bad decision there, picked off by Rayshon Jenkins. Here's Burton, able to make a move but then lose the ball. And then the other interception thrown by Driscoll.
Yeah, and you can't turn the ball over that many times on the road. And despite the fact that you've got a good defense, you continue to put them in bad situations, and you're not going to win. And for Al Golden, we were talking to him yesterday, and he says you can't imagine how tough the environment has been in the last 2 years for him. Recruiting and negative recruiting. Everybody tell him that the Miami program is going to be dead. Why would you want to go to school there? You don't know if there's going to be sanctions here, sanctions there. And for guys like Duke Johnson to stay, and not only to stay, but to bring other guys in with him. It's not about Duke Johnson. It's about building this program back. And this win today, if they can hold on, would do wonders for that program.
Be their second win in the last 8 years against a top 12 team. Florida will have the ball at the 40-yard line. I don't know if that's what Miami had in mind. And again, pushing and shoving afterwards, but no flags. So the first points for Miami since the first quarter, and it comes off of a turnover at the 5-yard line on the sack by McCord on Driscoll that forced the fumble, and then McCord went and recovered it. 5 giveaways by Florida. And it's rare to have 69 yards after the first quarter and be winning a game by 12. How about this for the ACC? You had Clemson beating Georgia, now Miami over Florida.
Absolutely.
Driscoll's pass is caught. Trey Burton made the catch in a gain of about 6. Again, they need 2 touchdowns.
Yep. Now, if you're Florida, you've got no time to waste. I'm not quite sure why they're in the huddle, to be totally honest with you. You don't have time to be in a huddle. You don't need 1 touchdown, you need 2 touchdowns. You got to be in a no-huddle situation right here. Wasting time.
Yeah, about 20 seconds. 2nd and 4 at the 46 of Florida. And Driscoll hits Jones. There's a lot of time for a half-yard gain. Clock still running. Florida will play Tennessee in 2 weeks. They got to go to LSU. They got Georgia. They got to go to South Carolina, and they play Florida State. Miami is off next week. Miami does not play Clemson. Does have to go to Florida State November 2nd. Driscoll on 3rd and 3. Everybody covered. Driscoll waiting. Now lets it fly. And it's caught inside the 25 by Dunbar at the 21. Clock will stop as everybody gets set.
You got to have it. You got to buy some time. If guys aren't open, for guys to get open downfield. A nice job of Dunbar going up and high pointing that football. You get down a 25-yard area, love if you're Florida to take a shot at the end zone right now.
Driscoll got a man. It's a touchdown. Solomon Patton wide open. A breakdown in the secondary. This game's far from over now with 2:08 left. Florida just has one timeout. They'll likely have to go for the onside kick.
Absolutely. A complete breakdown in the secondary for Miami. Patton just ran a simple post route. The corner let him go. Thought the safety had him. Safety was looking to the other side of the field, and an easy score for Florida. If you're Miami, you can't just sit back and allow this team to go right down the field.
Miami getting a guy to run on late. Again, they're just going for one here because they need the 2 touchdowns anyway after the failed conversion in the first quarter. And a penalty here on Florida. So they had the burn timeouts.
Substitution violation. The kicking team has 12 in formation. 5 yards. We'll still continue with the try.
That big guy saying, man, I ran all the way on the field for nothing. Jonathan Harris in the center. They got penalized. They already had 11 guys. How do you handle this if you're Will Muschamp? You go for the onside kick. Not enough time to kick it deep with 2:08 left and only the one timeout.
Well, remember they burned two timeouts earlier in the second half, and yeah, if you had 3 timeouts, you could onside kick, but without those timeouts, I think you've got.
Extra point good. You're saying if you had the timeouts,
Yeah,
you would kick it deep.
You kick it, and if you don't, you've really got to go with the onside kick.
And then if you're Miami, how do you handle this? Even if they do the onside kick and you recover it, they have struggled to move the football. They just got a touchdown, but that's because they got the ball at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, if Miami recovers this game, they've got to get a first down. If they get a first down, then the game's over. But for Florida, I think you've got to go for the onside kick. You just don't have enough time, because if you don't get it, the game's over.
How about this defense for Miami? 9 points. I know Florida has taken a lot of heat for its offense and its style of offense, but they won 11 games last year, and they've got good running backs. Driscoll, a solid quarterback, although he struggled throwing the football today. This Miami defense has done a heck of a job.
Well, we knew coming in, and we know the MO for Will Muschamp and for Brent Pease. This is a conservative approach on offense. There's no question about it. And they want to be physical, they want to burn clock, and they want to score just enough to win. And it's come back to bite them today in the red zone, particularly where they're 1 out of 6 in conversions before that last drive. And it's very difficult to put so much pressure on your defense every week to win.
So Harden is ready for what we presume will be an onside kick. Miami's got 10 guys near the ball and 1 man deep. Philip Dorsett, but he's not that deep. He's around the 15. 2:08 to play. Miami with a 5-point lead. And Harden kicks it straight ahead, and it's loose in midfield. It was touched initially by Miami. Now a scrum. Looked like Miami got it after the initial touch. And Highsmith has it.
Wow, that was
Miami ball.
They had Jimmy Gaines, the linebacker, lined up in the middle of the formation. And I don't know if this was a read by Florida, by the kicker or not. That's Gaines 59. Normally you have receivers up there, but you have A.J. Highsmith, who's a defensive back. And maybe this was a read by the kicker to say, you know what, I see a hole here, I'm going to take a shot. And they almost got it because Gaines couldn't come down with it.
And still, as you said, Miami has to get a first down or it's going to punt the football back. There may not be a whole lot of time left because, again, Florida had to use those timeouts earlier. There's just 1 stoppage left available for the Gators. Duke Johnson brought down by Ronald Powell. A loss on the play, and here's the timeout taken by Florida. Coming up in about an hour. From Athens, it's Georgia hosting South Carolina and Jadeveon Clowney. College football presented by Cars.com. You can see it on ESPN and watch ESPN. That's going to be a terrific game. That always is a tone setter when those two teams play early to mid-September. That's certainly setting a tone for Miami if it can hold on for the rest of the season with its schedule. They got Savannah State in 2 weeks at South Florida. ACC opener against Georgia Tech. Again, no Clemson. They go to Florida State.
Well, and that's right after, I think, Florida State plays Clemson. So they get Florida State after a huge game in the ACC. But this is not as we know, the ACC not as strong as the SEC, and this is not a schedule that is overly difficult.
I think the concern for Miami is, can Stephen Morris find rhythm again with his receivers? Because it's 2 weeks in a row he struggled to throw the football consistently. 12 of 25 today. That's under 50%. So Florida out of timeouts.
Even if Miami doesn't get a first down here, the best that Florida can hope for is getting the ball back after a punt with about 15 to 20 seconds left.
And how about this? And then a flag down as Stephen Morris takes a seat at the 41-yard line. Why even mess around with that? A chop block.
Duke Johnson for a chop block. He was trying to block on the backside.
So now you have some time here. You're not going to have all that clock time taken off because of the penalty.
Number 8 on the offense. That penalty will be declined. It's third down.
Yeah, they had Duke Johnson on the backside. Take a look after the fake. And what happens is the tackle is engaged, and then he goes low. And that's a good call by the official. Can't be engaged and then go low on a defensive end. But you're right. It does take some of the time off the clock. Now the clock already reset, and they will run it right now, and they can take off a good chunk.
But the play clock was at 23. It wasn't at 40. Third down and 17. Johnson reversing field, looking for a block. And Johnson still on the move, trying to stay in bounds. It's a smart move. Takes a seat at midfield. So with about 40 seconds left, Miami will have to punt the ball. Now Florida's already blocked one punt. Do you come after him? Do you set up the return? How do you handle it?
Boy, I'd come after him. Because the odds of you scoring an 80-yard touchdown with 40 seconds left on the clock is not good. Your odds are much better coming after him, having already blocked one punt.
And you've got one of the best punt blockers in college football, Luchez Purifoy. They beautifully split the shield last time, had him run right between it and block Pat O'Donnell. Under Muschamp in 28 games, they got 13 block kicks. Al Golden, the head coach of Miami Hurricanes, is essentially the special teams coach for Miami. So we'll see what adjustments have been made. And Miami calls a timeout here.
If I'm Al Golden, all I'm telling my punter, Pat O'Donnell, who's a fifth-year senior, is catch the football and kick the football. I don't care what it looks like. Just get it out of there.
Yep. Make sure to tune in next Saturday to College Game Day, live from College Station, the showdown between Alabama and Texas A&M. Look at all the programming we have for you from College Station. Thursday night at 5 on ESPN2. Thursday night football pregame at 7 on ESPN. College football live at 5 on Friday, ESPNU. SportsCenter Thursday and Friday. What should be a terrific game. And they do not have a return man. All 11, including Purifoy, is at the top of your screen, already with one block punt. And he gets rid of it. And it will go into the end zone with 20, with a clock still running. I'll have to put a couple seconds back on, or not. But 28 seconds left. Ball on the 20-yard line for Jeff Driscoll. Down 5. Need a touchdown, obviously. No timeouts. Well, last possession, Miami's secondary fell asleep. Got to be paying attention here.
For Miami defensively, defend the boundary. Don't allow them to get a 20, 25-yard chunk and get out of bounds.
They got to go 80. Down 5 with only 28 seconds to work with. Driscoll in trouble. Gets rid of the ball. Boy, I'm surprised they didn't whistle it dead. And they are. They're going to whistle it dead here. But they got to start the clock.
If they whistle it dead, they start the clock. And the clock is now started, 15 seconds.
Florida's not ready. Driscoll just recognized it.
You take a sack in that situation, game's over.
Probably the final play. Driscoll saying, everybody go. 4 seconds left. Now a flag down, and that might end the game. That's it. So you heard the referee, mixed with screams from the Miami fans, that the 10-second run-up because of the penalty. Clock might have been at 0 anyway. Miami takes down Florida. Here's Al Golden with time.
Coach, all week long this matchup was about rivalry to outsiders looking in. But for you, it was about getting better. How would you gauge where your team's at after this win?
We fought our tails off, Tom. That's a good football team we just played. Give them credit. We fought our tails off. Our defense was on the field way too much. They fought hard for us. We made some plays in the end. And a great victory from Miami football.
You've come a long way since that Kansas State loss a year ago on the road with an immature team. What's your message to your team in the locker room after this one?
Just that they know how to play the game now. We didn't talk about the opponent all week. We talked about the process. We brought our technique to the